The dwarf sits silently in his cell. He has said nothing to anyone since he declared that he was responsible for the assassins. Obviously, something about this doesn't sit well with everyone. And if his family and friends don't figure out what that is exactly, Othig will feel the executioner's axe within the hour. So,
Oh,
Oh, there's that.
there is that.
Wow.
When we last
I will say that I am never that pointed. With my
Before I say that, escalated quickly.
I love it. When we last left off, you guys were fighting Cenimus and his team in the arena. You as a team had already eliminated the other aspirants to declare the top four. First taking out Becaphon and Denalris before moving on. I actually typed out their names phonetically this week so I can not screw them all up every time we talk about them.
you mean Bacon Phone?
Bacon Phone and Danny Walrus.
That's what it was, Danny.
They've both been eliminated. You took out the other two in short order, but they would still be in the competition. And now it's just you two duking it out to see who comes out on top. And I left the combat tracker on Team Othig because it is Team Othig's turn. So let me reshare the drain with you. And
Which is the
then we can get rocking. Andy needs to connect, actually, still. But you guys in
I am attempting to resolve connected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it not connecting? Oh, that's weird.
If I remember correctly, we aren't allowed to use magic here.
You are not.
I have one inspiration left, and Cenimus specifically should have an inspiration still.
He does.
So
he does indeed.
But he also doesn't know that it's infectious. So we'll see what
That's
happens.
true. He would not know that it's infectious. So, Othig and Jeff, if you want to go ahead and make your attacks, I will make Orin's attack. And if Andy can't get in, then I will make Skoog's 2 attacks as well.
I was making just some D20 rolls because everything's base here.
Everything is base here, correct.
All right, so
unless you went ahead and made like whatever you needed to make it.
I have some spares. Bro.
What's going on over there?
This is amazing. It makes me so happy, but so terrified.
It kind of sounds like a saw that's getting stuck over the headset.
Yes, it does. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
All right, so it would be plus 10 for me on each one of those. I'm guessing only the one hits, Mike.
You need to break 18. So
I definitely only hit the ones.
Okay. Well, you're going to get another swipe because Orin is going to strike and yell out for you to take another shot.
And I will give you an inspiration in case that +1 helps. So my last inspiration is going to go to...
Sorry, what did you say, Mike?
Orin is going to use his battle mastery feat to give you another attack. You get to make another melee attack.
Got it. That one will hit.
Yep.
Okay, so can I use my one of the newer abilities that I got as well?
I'm going to go with no in this one, just because I don't have individuals separated out.
Oh, yeah.
So if you were going to jack somebody back 10 feet.
Yeah, you're right.
I should have thought ahead and actually separated the 4 out with you guys as 4 combatants. That probably would have been a lot more fun, but I got other things I want to get to. So
yeah, I feel like it would have taken a lot more time, though, too.
As quickly as we can and move on. All right. So Team Cenimus is going to make their 8 attacks. Is that 8? No, that's too many.
Hey,
but
can what's his face make his attack real quick?
Yeah, I was going to let you do yours twice.
That should only be a -5, not a -10. So that should be 22 will hit. 21 will hit, correct?
Yep. 18 hits.
Okay.
Let's see. What is that plus going to be for my proficiency?
That's not the right thing. But that's okay.
Spells of any kind while we were in here, correct?
Correct. No magic whatsoever. Only abilities that could could be considered natural, like sneak attack, inspiration, those types of things.
But not like healing touch.
Nope.
Or okay.
Nope. There is a transfer of power that happens with that.
17
rage,
total damage.
Rage and that stuff is all good. All right. Does anybody need me to add a certain amount of damage to Cinemis?
Yep. 17 from Othig.
17 from Othig. Okay.
And I did 44.
44?
24, he
How
said.
did
24.
So much?
What level am
Okay.
No, because I was using Great Weapon Master.
Got it.
It's not 44. It's 34. That one added it twice.
Oh, 34. I thought you said 24.
All right.
Dang, still.
So Team Cinemis has a very terrible round. I only have 3 rolls over 10. So you guys are only going to be hit 4 times with a variety of skills. However, one of those strikes is from somebody who has sneak attack.
Oh no.
Oren is going to get his squib jacked pretty hard. You guys are going to take 52 damage, lowering you to 348.
I don't think I have the ability to do that. No, that's a halfling thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were only struck 3 times by these guys, and they still did 52 points of damage. But it is now your turn again. They look a little frustrated that they didn't have a better round.
Hey.
So Oren.
Do I get to count that one as a crit?
I mean,
because it follows.
Is it a 19? Yeah,
It is.
absolutely.
All right, cool.
Oren whips out another nat 1. Good job, Oren. He's had a lot of those. But he does manage to hit again, and he is going to give Skoog an extra attack this time.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And that will be the last time he can do that.
16.
Go Oren. Oren cranked out just short of max damage there.
I will hit once, miss once, and then offhand attack.
Ugh. Okay, oh, wait. So no, I get to re-roll that one.
Yes, you do.
I'll hit.
Well, there's so much stuff going.
That's going to be 29 total for me.
29 total for you?
Yep.
Oops.
Have you used your inspiration at all, Ryan?
71.
I have not.
Oh!
Wow.
71?
Jeez. 3 great weapon master hits.
I'm not giving you any extra attacks.
I mean, that's fair.
Go Scoot.
Jeez.
Well, last guy's only hitting with like 1 attack every other round.
Yeah, that puts Team Cinemis in a pretty bad spot. Ryan, how much damage did you do total?
29.
29?
Yep.
Okay. Yep, they are starting to look bad.
Sorry, man. I'm supposed to know how many contracts?
But do they look like liches?
Oh, that is the exact opposite rolls as I had last time. The lowest roll I have is a 10, which is still going to hit you guys. And I got 3 crits in there.
Oh my gosh.
That hurts. That hurts.
It's going to be... Everybody hits. So that's 10.
It is, right?
The crit adds...
Oh, shoot. I get an extra attack because I crit, and I didn't take it.
Go ahead and you can take it. I'll add the damage in. They do 175 points of damage to you guys.
Jeez.
That's a lot. Oh, hey, that is a crit also.
Nice.
So that's nice. So this is going to be 8. So reroll a 1. 1 becomes a 6. That's awesome. Nice. So that's actually going to be 19 additional.
All right, you guys are up. Oops, I did my math wrong. Hold on. There it is. So.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'll use my inspiration to reroll that 1.
Oh, not reroll, but
add a 10 to it, right?
Seriously.
A D10.
Yeah.
That'll be 42.
Okay.
Okay, so that's still not going to hit.
I did some damage.
I did 1 attack.
I did 5 damage, Andy.
Oh, think how much did you crank out?
8 damage.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh no.
All right. This will be interesting. Let me see how these guys do here.
Can I viciously mock some people?
I know, but it's darn close to something I would let happen. It's real close, but it is a magical cantrip.
Just gonna sit out here scolding them and telling them I have small peckers.
So they are only going to hit you 7 times this time. The
I might do
rogue
that
will
anyway.
miss with his attack, so he does not get his sneak attack. He misses with both of his weapons. So that is only going to be this many dice. And that
instead of viciously
52.
mocking them,
I
I'm
forgot
just
to add.
viciously making fun of them.
Shoot, it's +5 for each of their hits. That's my bad.
Oops.
Yep. That is 112 total. They're going to get you for,
That's
which is going to leave you guys at 70 or 61.
Oof.
Wow, I think this is our last round.
I mean, potentially.
I think this is our last round.
I mean, it says
You're-
they're in critical. I don't know what that means. So
There's an option I found. It spreads out the vague damage into more categories.
I like it.
Oh, nice.
I do too. That's why if you noticed at the beginning when they were just wounded, it was just yellow.
It
I
said
didn't
moderate,
notice.
yeah.
Or moderate. It's got different colors for those too. So go ahead and make some rolls.
I'm gonna hit him with my stick.
Oren is not
I
going to
don't
hit
think
anything.
I've rolled less than an 18 this game. I rolled 4 18s in a row so far.
Nice.
Crit, and I'm using lucky. I think I've got one more use of that.
You do.
Do I? I can't remember.
42.
Wait,
42.
I have all my lucky and indomitable
That's
back.
probably
Actually,
true.
you would because we
We
rested.
did.
Yep.
We did. Okay, so I'm using that to reroll that one.
I'm out of
That
powers. I
one
don't
is still
even
not going to
know
hit.
what else I would be able to do at this point.
Andy, you
Man,
said 42?
I have Wargon?
You would. No, you used that last game. I remember that.
No, but we would have rested since then.
You're right. Yep.
So I do have one, and the lowest I can roll is a 1, which will still hit. So then I get that hit.
Nice.
So
right.
I've got 3 hits and one's a critical,
Yep.
which
You
means
are
I get 4 hits. So I got to roll.
you
again.
are both like teetering on the edge of
Yeah, I get 4 hits.
collapse.
It's going to be plus 16.
Ryan, you got a pretty good chance of not finishing them off, but I'd say this is like a 50-50.
It's 5d6 plus 16.
You got to break 30 damage.
No, sorry, it's
You just need average dice rolls.
It's 20d6 plus 16.
You need less
Oh,
than
you
that.
got this.
Or
20 d6.
5. No. Sorry, it's 5d6 plus 20.
Oh.
I get to reroll.
Oh,
How much did you say I needed?
You needed 31 points.
Oh, so I got it. I
You
got it.
got it.
All right.
Yep. So it's close. You guys are battling back and forth. It would actually be closer because Cenimus has Sentinel, and I forgot to apply it every round.
Oh.
So it would have, you guys, I doubt he would have chopped down 61 points, but you could pretty safely say you're closer to 40. So your team is all standing there with about 10 hit points left apiece. And you put Cenimus and the last of his team on the ground, bleeding out. He looks at you and nods as he kind of collapses to the ground and they teleport off the field. Like,
Could I have helped him up like at the final moment there? Could I have helped him up?
Yeah, I'd say you could do that. You reach out, you grab his hand, and you get that good warrior clasp where you grab, each other right below the elbow.
Yeah.
And like you don't get a chance to lift him up, but you get the clasp in before the healers zip them off because they don't want anybody who's not supposed to be dead dying.
Yeah.
So it's good. Your team Othig Stonehauler is declared champion of the group arena, which is a huge skill in the Kren's minds. The ability to lead a force of people is a big deal. And so it's even greater, cheering, then you've already succeeded and have your companions you're all given like special honors and medals and things like that, accolades. The others are too, but it's obviously very Olympian, so it's got that gold, silver, bronze, and like Bacon Phone gets a lead one. Yeah, it's like, nope. Here it's real heavy and doesn't look cool. Wear this with pride.
Bacon Phone.
Bacon Phone. So obviously there are some sore losers in all of this. People are upset, but the Kren honor their traditions, and so even the losers come out after they've been patched up, and it's a good celebration. The city's like on the edge of explosion of joy. What?
Yeah, it's still a feat to be here. Like,
yeah, it's an amazing thing that these guys has achieved. And Denalris looks at you as the celebration is going on, and he's like, well, at least I don't have to worry about you killing me later. And he claps you on the shoulder because he knows the final bout is to the death. So he's looking for a bright side. Bacon Phone has no such accolades for you. Bacafon he just leaves quickly afterwards. He's around for the ceremony parts of it as he needs to be, but there's no joyousness in that guy's life. The others, they seem about where you'd expect him to be. Cenimus is happy that he was at least in the final, and your teams talk about how stinking close it was, and how it really could have gone either way. And there's that type of thing going on between the final four contestants of pledges of loyalty and things like that. Should they, they survive, long enough and things like that, because they know that these four, the heads of these combats, only one of them will make it. So the teams are really the ones who are talking about this. The final contestants, you're all like, yeah, we're resigning ourselves to this. And the night goes on. There's a few days between this event and the final arena battle. You would find that at this moment, Thanok and Marilee would also find you after the ceremony. Thanok looks a little grumbly because it's arena stuff, and you all know how he feels. Marilee looks very proud of herself, and he's glad to be here. And he says, like we talked about on Discord, that he should have understood better what you were trying to achieve from the get-go, and it's about as much of an apology for not being here as you're going to get out of him. But since he's not, like Mav, not necessarily in the inner circle of things, he's not allowed into the palace, so for sleeping arrangements and things like that. So at this time, Mav, you would have found your note.
Okay.
So if you want to do anything with that, this would be the time to bring it up.
Like I said in Discord, Mav would look at the note and he would definitely take heed of it, but an unsigned note doesn't outweigh both his ambitions and the information he got from the other leaders that are known.
Okay. All right. Do you tell anybody about it, or do you just sit on it?
He would probably sit on it. He would definitely keep his eye open. Not very well, because we all know that he doesn't look at things, but he would definitely put a little bit more focus into his surroundings.
Right on. Okay. So then that first day would pass. You and Thanok and Marilee would end up in probably similar quarters.
He would actually probably leave the note there in case somebody was watching him. They would see that he does not do anything with the note.
Okay. So you just leave it in the stands.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. Jeff, then that first night you will find your note. Who did I just do? I didn't mean to delete.
And I have my own room with all my own stuff, or am I roomed with Othig?
Nope. Everybody is roomed alone.
I don't want to be by myself. Jeff doesn't do good alone.
It's the rules because they don't want to be behind the scenes like enhancement shenanigans going on.
Oh, well, okay. I will bring it to the authorities' attention that someone's been dicking with my stuff.
Okay, that causes quite the stir in the palace, and security goes up immediately. You would see extra guards going on, especially because the concept of the note is trying to For one, it's trying to get you to betray your teammate, which is a big no-no. For two, it's not signed, just like Mav's note was not, and it's very uncren-like to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, and Jeffrey's very proud to be where he is right now, both proud to be alongside Othig and proud to finally actually be standing as a Kren dwarf, so he would take personal offense to somebody dicking with his stuff.
Yep. So it's kind of a big deal. You guys would, for the first time, because of this development, you would be introduced to some of the ministers who are running the games. They're the top 5 ministers of the Kren Empire. They're basically the Emperor's guys. It's this cabinet. They're the ones who design the games. They're the ones who are overseeing them. They're the ones running them. You would, as groups, be brought before them and questioned.
So real quick.
Yeah.
Would I have been around for any of the previous of these? Has there been one of these games?
No. Nope.
Would I understand the protocol of us going from being under lock and key to suddenly everybody being brought together? Would I know about that?
No, and it wouldn't necessarily be the feeling of being brought together, because you're allowed to speak to each other outside of your rooms. You just can't be alone together. So if you guys went to dinner, you could be together at dinner.
Gotcha.
Yep, but you're just not allowed to be where other people can't observe you in a group.
Because the only thing I would have been trying to make sure that I was focused on is, I know that sometimes if like a terrorist, for instance, wants to get something, they will cause a disturbance that will then distract. And I want to make sure this wasn't intended to be a distraction, because I would have tried to be more discreet if that was the case. But
and something unusual would happen in all of this. So Othig, they would ask you flat out if you had anything to do with this. And you guys are kind of treated like, almost like you're getting a get out of jail free card with this, because the conspiracy seems to be against you.
We have to ask everybody, but we know you probably didn't tell somebody to kill yourself.
Right. It's that type of thing. But so there'd be some questioning of you guys. And you would also be asked to provide a list of people closest to you that are presently in the city.
Oh gosh.
I mean, we don't have to go through a list, but would you guys be compliant in listing that off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only person we have would be Mav. Everybody else
is Othig being asked, or is Jeff?
Don't worry about Fennec. He's not around and close to the family.
He's not. He wasn't around when the last Jeffrey knew. He wasn't around.
No, you would have seen him. You would have seen him. This is the second day after the battle. Gotcha. You guys would have seen him by now for sure.
So are we all being asked this?
Yes, every contestant, every aspirant is being asked this.
Well, Othig will comply.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
So, all of the people who hit these lists are being brought into the palace and placed under guard. So, there's a few people who don't comply with that. Ulrin's already under guard constantly and always.
I couldn't imagine why.
So yeah, it's just kind of a really strange thing, and there was a lot of ferocious debate between the ministers about this, because for one, if one of them is the person trying to do this, they're bringing them closer.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is, it's that whole keep your enemies close or your friends close, but your enemies closer type thing. That's the other argument, and that's the side that wins. That if they're here, they can be watched. So the inside of the palace, the city is still very celebratory, but inside of the palace, day 2 is very tense. So you guys are all now together as family. You're allowed to talk to people. They're not they're not imprisoned, but their groups have assigned guards now. So if you go to talk to Mav and Thanok, there is a guard present there the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know that I would.
So,
I don't want to bring any more suspicion on Mav than there already should be.
All right.
He's
Sounds
sketchy.
good.
One of those.
Did they talk to Mav about this?
Yes. Yep. They would.
And
you would be
Mav would be
borderline.
very open about it.
Okay. So you let him know that you were approached as well. And very much like before, you guys are kind of a little bit off the hook. Because why, Othig is, you don't plot against yourself. But they find it more suspicious. So even though you're more off the hook, there are now more guards assigned to Othig allies.
We should bring up
Absolutely.
We should bring up the specific other Kren that have existed that hate us. I.e. the dead guy in the tomb, the Red Rocks,
all the Red Rocks. Fiercely from the Red Rocks.
Right.
That's the only name that would be on the list, the Red Rocks.
Well, sure. I mean, there was that one guy that really, really, really wanted us dead in Euros.
No, not him. Definitely the Red Rocks.
Wasn't he a Red Rock? The guy
Probably was. All of our enemies are Red Rocks.
He's the only Red Rock.
Every time we go through and try and figure out what Kren might hate us, we just come back to, oh wait, that one's also a Red Rock. Oh, that one's probably a Red Rock.
Descendants of a Red Rock.
You guys would know that it's likely a sizable portion of the Empire because you were, well, not everybody who lost their side on the Civil War stayed in the North. A lot of them came south because they didn't want to no longer be Kren, even though they were on the other side.
Right.
So there are people whose families you killed in the war that they were allied with that side of the Civil War. So there's potential tension. It is also suggested that you're being targeted because you're a dwarf. And there's a lot of people who don't like that because you live long.
Oh, that's
and
right.
you stay battle ready longer. So humans are at a serious disadvantage to retake the throne against a dwarf.
I forgot that there's only been one, right? Dwarf.
There has never been a dwarf emperor.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
So there's just a lot of stuff going on. Is there anything you guys would want to do this day? There's this obviously budding mystery as to who's doing what, but it does seem to be being investigated very vigorously.
So it's the next day and we've got some time off, basically?
You do have some time off as people recover so that when the final aspirants go into their combats, they're at the top of their game.
Like, honestly, I wondered if...
I would like to unmask the bad guy.
Anyway, what I was trying to say was, I thought, like, if this would come up, like, if you were going to ask, like, what would we be doing? And I think what Othig would be doing is I'd basically be going around to people who are closest to me, not really bragging, but, like, trying to elicit responses out of people, like, hey, did you see me down there? Did you see that flex? Did you see, like, did you see the time when I did this? How awesome that, like, I basically be talking about the games. Like, I'd be talking about the games.
Be on board with, like, building you up, but he'd also remind you that you almost died too.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. At least Othig isn't.
Humble bragging.
So everybody talks about, like, there's a lot of talk about the arena and the team battle, and obviously Skoog and Raki are like now that
I'm definitely talking about the stone thing.
Yeah, that's what people really want to talk about is the smashing of the record that has stood for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
By Othig Stonehauler, and it's just this thing they talk about over and over and over again. So, but they do talk about how cool you guys were in the arena and how you chased the one team around, and there's all that talk going on. Othig, make a perception check for me as you're cruising the halls.
Oh great!
He's almost as good as Mav at these.
Can I just try for a salamander instead?
Can you do both? Can you do both? Also look for a salamander.
That's really good.
Also salamander. Do it.
You want?
Not
okay.
bad
You
at
can't
all.
break tradition, man.
Like give it a shot.
No,
I'm so glad that wasn't my perception roll.
Yep.
There's no
Well,
salamanders in the halls, guys.
you do not pick out anything in specific, but you really like you'll be in the middle of of a story and you'll feel like you're being watched, and it's so hard for you to figure out who it is because as you move around, everybody's looking at you, but you just get the feeling like somebody is watching you more intensely than others,
Am
and
I,
the role is not quite good enough to put that to get who it is together.
Okay.
am I with them?
Him? I was just gonna say, would Mav and I?
If you guys want to be, you're allowed to hang out this day. So
Yeah, I got nothing better.
Mav would cast True Sight on himself.
you would not be able to. There is
Okay.
Hey,
no
you can.
magical casting inside of the palace.
I genuinely feel like I would be right
Even if
alongside
it's-
Othig because he's finally bragging, and for once, I don't know that I would even kind of try to hype him up.
Yeah.
I would just like stand there in awe of this suddenly braggadocious dwarf.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And Andy, permission to do so, but unless you have permission, you're not allowed to cast inside the palace.
It's an ability. It's not a
Oh.
spell. Like I always have
That's-
detect magic up. It's just how I see.
Make a
disgusting.
Constitution saving
Okay.
throw.
And I find that the answer is no.
Yeah. No, you would hit resistance doing this, but since it's a built-in ability, you might be able to push it through.
Oh,
No,
almost.
it hurts. It hurts to
Okay.
try. It's like you start to see flickers of magic around, but you can't make out sense of it. It's really like bizarre the way it's moving, and you think it's because you're in some kind of static field
Sure.
that's,
Which makes
that's
sense.
causing disruption.
what's a 19 get, boss?
You realize that you are being followed by various members of the opposition who are probably keeping an eye on Othig, maybe weighing his skills, but a 19's not quite enough to pick up on anything, if there is anything nefarious. It's like what you pick up on is like these people are definitely watching Othig, but that makes sense.
Would I ask the head of the guards or whatever, because
Yeah.
of the threat on Othig, if I could cast Death Ward on him?
Oh,
They take you
They
to
would-
a woman.
Was it?
Her name is
oh.
this is escalating. No, they take you to the Minister of Spells, and
Okay.
her name is Thespis. She's one of the council members. She's one of the people who you saw arguing in the council chambers. She was one who was arguing against bringing people in.
Oh,
And she's the one who gives out permission for certain things. And
Sure.
you present your request to her, and she, not even without a roll, allows you to do it. You don't need to persuade her. She seems like she is taking the threat more seriously than the others. You've picked up on that too.
Can I roll an insight on her?
You sure can.
she's sketchy AF.
Well, she seems to be on Team Othig right now. So
Yeah.
Crap. Okay.
yeah,
Sounds good.
she seems like
Yep.
she's on Team Othig. She's
Oh,
been-
I'm sorry. You're gonna die, and it's because I can't do anything. But that's
Yeah.
okay. You got Death Ward.
Hey,
So-
I've been fine with that before. I mean, that's the status quo for us.
How long does Death Ward last? That's 8 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours.
So
Okay.
I would request to be able to reapply it until he goes to the games, and then obviously remove it.
She would allow that, but she would let you know that his room is currently an anti-magic zone. So it is unlike
Yep.
if he goes into his room, but she says it's also an anti-magic zone, so he is actually very safe in that room.
Not
Yeah,
against
because
poison.
anybody that wants to kill him is going to have to fight him, and well, good
That's
luck.
she nods and says that's kind of the idea. So
Huh.
Sounds like it could be a good night.
Yeah, dude. You're gonna fight some damsel in distress or something.
is there anything else you guys would like to do before the next day when the games begin?
No, I really would have just wanted to go around to, some of our more, some of the people that we're closer to, and just kind of like talk about all the awesome stuff that we've done in
Yeah.
the game so far. Like, because
You
I'm
get
just
some.
excited. I'm just excited about it. Like, I'm not trying to brag, really. Like, I'm just
Mhm.
excited about it.
Yeah, and they're excited with you, and some of them are differently excited than others. Like Cornwall, he tries to give you all these battle tactics that are just he's a Navy guy, so it's like boat battle tactics, and you're just like, whatever, Cornwall. But he's
Oh, broadside.
to discuss it with you, with a broadside. It's that type of thing, and you don't even know what a broadside would be with a pack of spears. It's like, but you're like, sure, Cornwall. But
That's great.
it's relatively a good day. So night comes around, and Jeff, you and Thanak and Mav would be sent back to their quarters that are under guard, and you and Othig are sent to your quarters that are under guard. And Othig, I need you. Oh, what?
Are
Go ahead.
our rooms magically protected or anti-magic fields?
They are not anti-magic fields. So
definitely cast Death Ward on myself.
Okay, you cast Death Ward on yourself. Absolutely. So the night goes on, and Othig, you are awoken by the sound of screaming, and I need you to make a perception check.
Got him.
All right, we shook off the 3, and we traded it for a 9.
So you trade it for a 9, and you do not see it coming, and you are stung in the leg by throwing back your sheets when you're stung and it hurts bad. You clearly see a Reaper Scorpion in your bed.
Oh, jeez.
Mother.
And so you are going to take a sizable amount. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
You're good at those. Is it
Lucky.
poison? Is it poison?
It is poison, so he gets advantage.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
get advantage.
I'm
Indomitable,
rolling that
lucky,
again. Otherwise, I'm going to use Indomitable.
and lucky and everything. Use everything.
Let's see. I'll stay with that 22.
Okay. 22 is good enough. The DC for a Reaper Sting is 20. So you will only take, let's see, you take half. You made the saving throw, so you take half of 116 points of damage, and then half again. So you will take 29 points of poison damage, and you hear what sounds to be fighting coming from other rooms. Now, you do have your gear in this room. You're obviously not armored, but your actual weapons are in this room.
Oh, geez.
Okay, so I'd have to don my
fighting,
armor.
or is this in a different hallway?
This would be
What?
me and him.
Do we
It
hear
would be-
fighting?
No, you'd be on the other side of the palace.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But
Wait,
Jeffrey
you
is
said
right there.
you said all my actual gear.
Yes,
Okay, but I'm not wearing my armor currently.
correct, because you would not sleep in plate armor.
Right. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so there's a Reaper in the room.
Yep, it's in your bed. It is actually right next to you. If you were to try to leave from it, it would get an attack of opportunity on you. But your gear is not far away.
The Reaper or the Scorpion?
Okay,
That's oh, sorry. It is a scorpion. It is a Reaper Scorpion. It's
I would
not a
like.
person.
Here's what I'd like to do, if you allow it.
Yeah.
Since mobile, I want to hit it, grab my armor and my gear, run out of the room, and shut the door behind me.
Yeah, you can do that.
Because then it won't get to make an attack against me.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
That way, and I'll be out in the hallway. I can at least like don my armor and see what's going on.
Well,
That takes a
it
few minutes.
takes like 10 minutes to don heavy armor.
Well,
I
I'll
didn't
still do it
realize
depending on what I see once I, walk outside.
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah. Jeff, you would hear the commotion.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
actually-
I'm right by him. Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah, you'd be in an adjacent room.
I might change my mind on this.
Okay.
Do I recognize the voice? You said it's a woman's voice?
You hear screaming coming from
There's-
different. It's most of it sounds manly, but there is a couple women involved in it as well.
Okay. Do I recognize any of the?
It woke you up out of a sleep, so I'm going to go with
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Oh,
go ahead.
all right. I'm gonna stick with my first plan.
All right, so you take a swing at it. If you want to make an attack roll, you can. They do. It does have a hit point value. It's
Yeah.
up to you though.
While he's doing that, I hear the commotion. I'm gonna throw my.
Does
coat
18
on.
hit?
No,
Jeez, dude.
actually it
plus
does. Yeah,
16?
an 18 does hit. Sorry.
Okay.
You have a plus 16.
So you slug it with your fist, which is 1 point of damage plus your strength modifier. And so that's going to be what, like 5?
Oh no, I'm assuming that I would have been able to grab my that I rolled that with the glaive.
Oh, okay. So
he definitely sleeps with his glaive in his bed.
I figured since it was my room, I was close enough to grab my glaive wherever I would have left it.
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah, I think Tony's right. It's like it's under your pillow. It's like right next to you.
I cuddle it to bed.
It's got its own pillow.
Yeah.
With your glaive, you would kill this thing. So you wouldn't even need to run out of the room. They don't have a ton of hit points. They're just very deadly. And so you exit the room and you see the guards. You know, like right as you
go.
Hang
on. If you said I kill it, I want to slightly change this. I would just open the door to my room and put my armor on in the room, because if I know that there's no magic that can get through this room, I want to stay protected by staying in the room and like get my armor on though first.
Okay. You don't get your door open. Your guard comes running in to see if you're okay, and he sees the dead Reaper, and he sees you bleeding in the leg where it stung you, and he's like, "Are you okay? Because you should be dead."
I'll tell him that I'm fine for now, but I'm concerned about the screaming, and I'm trying to get my armor on to go assess the situation.
And so are you actually going to take the 10 minutes to put your armor on?
I mean, I don't know what's going on out there. Does he know?
He has no idea. The other guards are right now checking on the other individuals.
Okay,
this is like 10 seconds into this event.
Here's what I'll say to him. Like, basically, if I run down this hallway and see what's going on, are you coming with me to protect me?
He will die before he lets anything happen to you.
I'm leaving my armor in the room. I'm grabbing my weapons and going.
Okay. So
I'm saying my weapons. All of them.
So you grab your bag, your holster, whatever you store all these things in. You swing it over your shoulder. He kind of smirks. He's not supposed to really like you. He's supposed to try and play indifferent, but you can tell he's team stoned.
He likes me.
And so you guys run down to the next room, which is Lyle's room, and he comes out of his room and he's got tears running down his face. And there in his room looking in, there is another dead Reaper, and his wife is in the room starting to liquefy.
Who is it?
Poison. Lyle. One of the other combatants.
Yeah. Okay, so Tony's got his hand raised, and
I'm waiting. I'm being patient.
Yeah. What's up, Tony?
So I would like to, if I can, hearing all of the commotion, grab my things, throw on my coat, step up my door where I would see probably him come out.
Mm-hmm.
As I step up my door, I'm casting Sending to Mavamine, and I'm just going to tell him... Huh?
Can you even cast Sending
in here?
Not
in my room, but in the hallway, I assume
totally.
I can.
Yeah, in the hallway. You would need to make a Constitution saving throw. You have not been given permission to cast spells in the palace.
Then I wouldn't. If I do not believe that I have permission, I wouldn't even attempt to.
Okay.
So with that, I'm following wherever they are going, and do I believe that the person who gives permission would be someone that I could send a message to?
It would be Thespis, the lady you just met, who approved giving out Death Ward. So maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Sending to her then.
Okay.
Frantically asking permission to apply any healing magic that might be necessary. There seems to be something awful going
on. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
I'm so glad we both
Sending
said that
is
at the same time.
The low level one, correct?
No, that's message. Sending is the 5th level one.
Okay.
Let me double check.
Third. It's third.
Third level. Yeah, it's the 3rd level one.
Okay. I'm just setting the DC in my brain here. She responds, "I'm impressed by your skill. Yes, do what you can. I was just informed of what's happening."
Okay. I would have started
Okay,
with something along the lines of
Yeah.
something of the martyr, but anyway.
No,
You're
it's
gonna-
good. So
sorry,
what you guys start to see all happening at once is the fight wasn't long. Reaper scorpions are not necessarily tough. I mean, they're big for a scorpion, but they got six to 8 hit points. And so in skilled combatants, it's not the end of the world. It's not a real big deal. And you realize that everybody, all the aspirants got a scorpion put in their room. Ty- Tyros is dead. Lael's
Okay.
wife is dead, and
Oh,
Cenimus is about to die.
So there was no intervening with the wife?
No, she was already gone.
Okay.
But
I
if you
will heal Cenimus.
okay,
I'm going
uh,
to first do a let's see, 5th level cure wounds.
okay, give me that total.
Yep. So this will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll be the heal, and then I will immediately begin casting Regenerate, which is
Okay.
the big heal that will heal over time as well.
All right, then you will be successful in saving Cenimus. Right behind you,
Nice.
Lady Thespis shows up with a priest.
Yep.
You recognize her appearance as having been cast Dimension Door.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, she appears right behind you in Thespis's Cinemus's room, and like all the scorpions are dead, but there's just chaos at the moment.
So
Mhm.
two of the finalists are dead.
No, only one of them.
Only one of
The
them.
other guy's
One and a
wife.
wife.
Oh, the other guy's wife.
I
And
didn't say this earlier because it wasn't pertinent to you guys, but wives were allowed in the rooms
yeah,
if they didn't
And-
have skills.
yeah.
So,
And
They got
Cenimus
skills if they're
almost
in the
died.
bedroom.
yeah, not the kind.
Jesus,
Those kinds of buffs were
wrong,
allowed.
wrong skills.
So
Cenimus almost died.
Cenimus was stung, and it looked like he was about to die. But Jeff saved
What
him.
about okay? So that's 3 different contenders accounted for. Who's the
You're the
fifth?
fourth. There are no more. The others lost in the group event, so there were only 4 finalists.
Okay, so
All 4
okay.
finalists were attacked.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Let's see. Did any of the Reaper Scorpions not get killed?
No, they're all dead.
They're all dead. Okay.
Either the aspirants killed it or their guards did.
Either the aspirants. So the reason I'm asking is I was looking to maybe try and do something with one of them to determine how they got where they were.
Sure.
Do you want to speak with the dead?
No, I want to true polymorph one of them into a child.
Oh.
Okay. Why?
Just
No,
smart
they
enough.
are all dead.
Just smart enough to tell me who is their daddy and what do they do.
Oh my
Jeff,
God.
did you want to still contact Mav and the crew?
No, well, I mean through the lady.
Your
Yes,
spell
but I
lock is
used
off right now.
well, I used the one sending spell I have to get a hold of her.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Yeah.
made sure to reach out to the person who I wouldn't be in trouble with.
Mhm. So Mav, in your room, which is a communal room, there'd be a bunch of people in it. Probably most of your guild members, Thanok, Marilee, the whole business. Guards would burst through the door and start like accounting for people in the room.
Yep.
Okay.
That would definitely be like, huh?
Yeah, they would tell you that there's been an attack and that they're sorting it out, but people in the palace need to be accounted for.
Matt would ask him about Othig.
Othig is fine at the moment.
Okay. Then he will not attempt to leave.
Okay. Sounds good. So everybody is taken to like everybody in the palace is awoken at this moment, and you're all brought into the common hall. So this is Thanak and Mav, the aspirants who are alive. Um, Lael is obviously a mess at the moment, as is Tyrose's wife. They're both like freaking out, borderline hysterical. Um, but the council is determined to figure out who did this and to bring things to an account.
And
So
how?
throughout the rest
Like,
of the night, there is lots of questioning that goes on. Does anybody want to interject anything or make any rolls or anything?
Mav would use probably persuasion, and be as open as possible and assist however he can.
Okay. Make a persuasion check then. We'll weigh your helpfulness. So you're very persuasive, and you have a good insight too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. So the council kind of leans on you a little bit as partial. Some of the other people don't like this because you're Othig's family, but they know you're a member of the order, you're a member of high standing, and they kind of want you keeping an eye on things. So you are very helpful during this whole exchange.
Jeff
And the
would like
night
to
goes
call
I-
our lawyer.
Also ask the Festus if she would allow me to cast True Sight.
She says, hold that thought.
Okay.
She says that she's worried that'll tip the balance. Like you're
Okay.
getting kind of a pass, but she's worried
Yep.
that if she
Nope.
gives you free
That's fine.
spell casting, that could cause a problem. But the council doesn't seem to get anywhere with their investigation. Everybody seems equally innocent in this. And so they get together and they start talking, and then real fighting between them starts.
Yeah.
Like there is a straight up shouting match going on between the Master of Spears and the Minister of Houses. And that's basically the general of the army and the person who governs the people. It's like, and there is that. And then the Minister of Coin says, well, then bring in the mirror. And everybody gets quiet.
Do wait. Do I know what this is?
Make a history check.
Oh, I don't have that.
Oh, I do.
I do. I'm
guys can
around to
make
hear that?
Hey,
All right, make one.
That's really good for Jeff.
Oh, jeez.
I think history's actually my lowest possible score, by the way.
That's so funny. All right, so Matt, you've heard of this thing. It hasn't been used in a very long time, but there is a mirror that the Kren keep. It's a magical mirror. It's a full-size mirror that they keep, and they do not use it often because it feels very unkren-like to rely on a mirror. It is basically an enhanced version of Zone of Truth, is what it does. They make you look into it, and while you're looking into it, you cannot tell a lie and you cannot purposely evade a question.
Holy crap.
Dude.
So
Jeffrey's
it's kind of
not
a
going
big
anywhere
deal.
near that.
And so
Do not
the
want.
room gets quiet. Some people, like Mav, know what the mirror is. They've heard stories of the mirror, and so that starts to speak around. What is
Whispers.
Yep, that's
That's
about
always
right.
how it goes.
That is always how it goes. But the council does agree to bring in the mirror if the aspirants agree to speaking to it. Sentimus agrees, Othig agrees, Lael nods, and so they bring in the mirror. It takes about a half an hour for it to arrive because it is locked away down inside the keep's vaults and things like that, and they have to go get it. When they come up, it is under a big tarp. They yank it off, and dust goes flying everywhere because this has not been used in such a long time.
Yep.
I am visibly uncomfortable.
As are a lot of people in the room. They
Yeah.
are like this. So they begin to question the aspirants, and they address them very formally, and then they ask them, "Are you responsible for these attacks?" They both answer no. And so it gets to
Of course.
Othig, and they look at Othig and they say, "Othig, son of Thubatar and Belva of Clan Graniteback, are you responsible for these attacks?" Othig,
Uh,
what do you say?
hang on.
I know.
Hang on. Hang on. I, I, hang
Are you
on.
looking for a GIF or something? What are you doing? Are you
I'm,
pooping?
I'm looking for something.
Are you
I'm
pooping?
looking for something to say.
I got you.
Where? Oh my gosh.
What happened? What did I miss?
Can't believe that's what it is. I did. It was me.
Like the room goes silent as Othig admits to orchestrating these attacks. He is immediately grabbed by the guards and drug out of the room. Jeff, I would like you and Mav to make perception checks. Actually, Jeff, you cannot make this perception check.
Why?
And here comes my one.
Am I blind? Did I poop?
Hey!
Jeff, you cannot make it because you were purposely not looking at the mirror.
Correct.
Yep.
Because I don't want to not be able to lie if I have to.
Othig's reflection in the mirror was a hair step behind. Like it had lag,
Yeah,
but not much.
Matt would bring that up.
Okay, you go to bring that up. Othig, you're looking immediately from a different perspective. You are looking out over the crowd. You are watching yourself be dragged away, and you are being surrounded by mists. In the background, you hear crying and screaming.
Little bird?
You did you say it's just coming from behind me or it's just coming from all around me?
You can hear coming from like everywhere, but you are standing what looks to be in front of the mirror, but on the sides of the mirror, all you can see is fog. All around you is fog. Looking through the mirror, you can see yourself being dragged away.
Sorry, I had to go clean up my dog's mess real quick.
Oh no.
Can I see me? Like, can I hold my hands up in front of my
Yep.
face and like see me?
You sure can.
But the only thing that I see is the mirror, but in the mirror's reflection, I see me being dragged away.
Correct.
And if I
And
turn around,
you see Mav for just a moment make eye contact with you in the mirror. And you feel like you could make contact back with him. Would you like to?
yeah, I'm just gonna ask. I'm just gonna like. I'm gonna make some sort of gesture and then also ask him, "Can you see or hear me?"
You would still see Mav staring at the mirror for just a second, and then for a moment you're like, "Oh, he's about to say something," and then he goes completely quiet. And then from next to you, you hear him say, "Yeah, I can hear you." And you look and you see him standing next to you, but he is still also out in that crowd staring away from the mirror now.
Nope, I don't like that.
I'm so twisted around. So he's next to me.
He is next to you. And
Like
obviously
actually,
making different gestures than what you're seeing out through the mirror.
but he's not next to me in the mirror.
He is not in what you're looking at, not in the through the mirror, which is now starting to fade. And you're watching the crowd start to follow you, and your family and friends, Jeff in particular, look extremely upset.
Yeah. Did I hear Mav say something about the mirror?
You would have heard Mav make a funny noise.
I would look at Mav and try and figure out what he's doing.
He's staring at the mirror.
Oh God. Is Mav okay? Like,
Okay. So
like, nobody looks okay right now. You just heard Othig say that he orchestrated the attacks.
even if
but
I
he's
think
not
I
looking
could,
he's not looking at Othig being dragged away. He's looking at the mirror.
Correct.
Still looking at the mirror?
No,
Okay.
his face doesn't linger. It like he stares for just a minute, but as Othig begins to get dragged away, he would turn and follow that. But you would notice him staring at the mirror longer than you would have thought.
Okay, I want
Okay.
to see if I can make an insight just the way Mav works, and see if he notices something. And you said he didn't say anything, right?
He didn't. He made a noise.
Um,
But like when somebody goes to say something and then doesn't say something.
yeah, I'm sorry. I know I'm cutting you off, Ryan. With the time is essence.
This is okay. It's a two-sided deal. I need
So
to make a check here too.
Even if I could, even if Ryan thinks he knows, or because I don't, Othig definitely doesn't know what's going on. So he's gonna turn to Mav and basically say, "Do you know what's going on?"
Is Mav in the mirror now with
Mav
Othig?
is in the mirror. And
Mav is unhappy with Othig.
Mav is still outside of the mirror though too.
Okay,
But does Mav know where he is? Or does Mav
really.
feel like he's in both places?
It's very disorienting when you first show up inside the mirror. So you could make an insight check at disadvantage. Jeff, what are you doing?
so I'm going to use lucky. I'm trying to make an Arcana check with my insight check on Mav. I want to try and deduce if there's any magical skullduggery going on here, because I'm about to do something that might be really bad for me and everyone else.
You are not entirely sure. There is something amiss because you've been with Othig almost the whole time. You know Othig didn't do this. So you have no idea why Othig would have admitted that. And Mav not paying attention to what was happening to Othig is very suspicious.
Yep. So is Magic Lady still in the room?
She is, but I want to jump back to the boys in the mirror real quick. So
okay, I'll hold.
Just because we just dropped Andy into the middle of this, and I want to make sure he's caught up.
Yep, I want to make sure I'm doing something before they drag off Othig, but I'll come back to me.
Okay.
So I stare at the mirror.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm inside the mirror, but also outside the mirror.
When you were watching, when you were like, wait a minute, that reflection didn't look right, you made eye contact with Othig in the mirror, and Othig made eye contact with you from the other side, and it pulled you in. But you're looking back out, and you still see yourself. You make eye contact with yourself for just a moment, and then yourself turns and walks away with the crowd, or starts to.
I am trapped in the mirror with Othig.
Yep. And you look over and there is Othig like waving his arms around, seeing if anybody can see him, which nobody outside the mirror does.
Okay. Now I'm casting True Sight.
Okay. You cast True Sight and the fog remains. The portal through the mirror disappears. You now see your reflection in the room. And instead of like vague looking fog walls, you're in a circular room. You can make it out very clearly now. You see what looked to be the trapped souls of people like banging their fists against the walls of the room. Like the walls are made up of trapped souls. He's typing. He doesn't have his headset on.
I think he took his headset off so he wouldn't hear this.
Yeah. Maybe.
He just posted it in Fantasy Grounds.
That was me.
Okay, so I would turn that back off and I would ask Othig what he said.
Okay. Jeff, what are you doing? Because you guys have started a conversation now.
Yep. So between my insight and what would end up being an 18 Arcana check. Insight on Mav, Arcana to tell if something happened that shouldn't happen. And if the Magic Lady's in the room, all of those matter. So,
So an 18 Arcana check's pretty good. It's not great though. I would say you are super confused. You do not believe what's going on. And the only explanation that does anything for you is magic.
Okay.
There's like no other explanation for it. Either Othig's being dominated or, that's where your brain is going, or something strange has happened for sure. 100%.
Okay.
I love your face. What are you doing?
I'm casting Mass Suggestion at 9th level.
Oh.
And I'm going to say, cool the F out. In the name of Zillion, the Emperor of the Kren, no one moves until that person says so. And I point at the magic lady. And I say, that's not Othig, and that's not Mavamine, and something is wrong. And that's all I'm throwing a tiny, terrible dwarf temper tantrum.
Okay, well, your magic shackles are off, so the entire room grinds itself to a halt. There's obviously people in the room that make their saving throws, but the vast majority of people in this room fail it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, they're confused by it, and now there's more of an uproar. And Thespis is like, who else could it be? We heard his own words. He said he was guilty. She's like, the mirror does not lie.
But Othig can.
And okay, so Othig says nothing. He just looks at you and mouths, I'm sorry.
I am unsure of what to do. How big is the space that all of us are standing in?
It's a huge great hall, so it is a big space.
Sorry, I meant like the mirror, the aspirants, the guards, and Fespa.
Oh, it would be pretty contained. You would probably be 20 feet from the mirror, being the fact you and Oren and Skoog would all be there because you were part of Othig's team, so you are closer to the circle. Mav would have been a little further back and off to the side because he's one of the family members, but because you weren't looking at the mirror, that's why you saw Mav.
Yep.
What are you doing? Because I'm going to go back to the other boys real quick.
Do that.
Okay, you think about it. So you guys are obviously trapped inside of something, and that is something that I have a map for.
Where did Andy go?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I love it.
Thanok's not here, is he? If Mav's here, is Thanok?
Thanok is in the room with you.
I would immediately make eyes with Thanok and know that he can probably read minds, and I would tell him to read Mavamine's mind, or one of the two. Whoever he thinks he can get into easier, Mavamine or Othig. And
I'll tell you who he knows whose mind he can definitely get into easier.
Yep. It won't be Mavs.
You don't need to answer that question because you should know the answer.
And I will give Thanok an inspiration to do that. And while he's doing that, I am going to address the Thespina, but I'm going to let you play with them first.
Okay. So you guys, let me move Othig into here.
Remember, smart and
I figured out why it didn't work last week. There's a button that you have to push to turn it on, and I did not turn it on, and it's not in an intuitive spot. It's on the main play page and not the build the business page. Made me mad. So you guys are in this round room. Like I said, the walls are at this point now, they're not as foggy, they're more clear, at least for Mav. And it looks like there are people that are trapped behind these walls. And you guys hear, I'm so excited. Let's see, where is it? You hear a voice that supersedes all of the whispering and crying and the pleas for help. You hear a voice that says this. It's a low, rumbly, whispery kind of hissing voice. It says, I have thought of how much I hate you 1,000 times, but never did I truly believe I would get this opportunity. It's always been more like the desire an adult has to return to greener days. Never did I think I would get it. Nothing more than a pantsing fancy. But here you are. How delightful.
Nope, I don't like that.
And then you hear another voice, a young voice. It's a kid's voice. It's crying. You can tell coming through it that there's sobbing going on, and it screams out, help me, I can get you out. He's searching for me. Kill him, and I will free you. And the first voice comes back and says, yes, come, find me, kill me, or find the child. Either way, I will finally kill Granite Backs.
Do I recognize the voice?
Make an insight check.
Oh, jeez.
Both of you can if you want.
I really hope I recognize the voice. Oh, I think I do.
Oh, look
Both
at
think
that!
that's really pretty good. It is very familiar to you, but you can't quite place it. Make a
Would a,
second one.
would a Wargong help me place it?
It might, but make a second insight check.
Make a second one
Mav,
first.
you're like, it sounds familiar, but I don't think I can get this.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Oh, dude.
Oh, you realize you're having a hard time placing this voice because you only heard it in this form once, right before you killed him. It's Achilleos.
That's what I was wondering.
It's a douchebag.
Red Brock. Is it like actually Achilleos, or is it like
it's the Yuan T that was masquerading as it's its Yuan T form? That's why it was hard for you to pick up. Had he been in man form, you probably would have got it right away.
Yeah, and this was the form that we saw him in right before the castle collapsed, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's the only time you ever heard him speak in that form.
He finally caught it, or that we actually faced him when we came around the corner out from the tunnels and the dungeons.
You did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff,
okay, so before we do that,
yeah.
Mav is going to pull out a fish out of his pocket.
Nice.
And look at Othik and tell him we could send a message. If you think
Oh! The message fish!
It's the wish fish.
The wish fish,
wish
that's
fish.
right.
we're going to use a wish to cast a third level spell that hurts inside.
Sending doesn't go across multiverses.
It does.
Oh, is it like a 5% chance of failure?
5% chance of failure.
Were you sending it to?
Or-
Were you sending?
I would send it to Festus. So my thought was originally Jeff, but Jeff can't.
Jeff's having
It could help Jeff. But Festus would be our best chance of getting vindicated before your head comes off.
I feel like that makes most sense because you were trying to work with her anyway. And honestly, like she was kind of on our side before, and I feel like telling her that we're trapped inside the mirror would probably be really interesting to her.
Oh,
that was kind of my thought.
Yeah.
The other aspirants went first. With the
like
insight
honestly,
that I was focused on, did they do anything weird, or was it just Mav and Othig?
Just Mav and Othig.
Okay, thank you.
when you said her, I thought the only thing that made sense was just telling her that we're inside the mirror and that would be enough.
Oh,
Like, I was like, oh, well, he wants to contact her because if he only says one thing, it would be like, hey, we're inside the mirror, help.
All right. So is that the plan? You're going to use the wish fish to cast sending or message?
I think I'm going to use wish fish to cast sending.
All right.
And I would try to both identify that Othig and I are both in the mirror and give her information that would confirm my identity.
Okay. Yeah, you'd be able to cram that into
25 words.
Yep. So give me a D20 roll to make sure it does not fail. And I will give you advantage because the wish fish is not trying to screw you over with a wish.
Jesus, Andy.
So
do you have an inspiration of any kind?
No, he just doesn't need to roll a 1.
I would say I just got 1.
Okay.
I was 6 and a 9. Like I knew that was golden.
I was just really surprised that was a 6 and a 9.
The last thing you guys see through the mirror, the message goes off. Yeah.
Before the message goes off, I would tell Othig, the one hole in this plan is if it is her.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Oh shoot.
So the spell goes off and you see through the mirror. She stops and looks at the mirror and you see just the corner of her mouth turning up in a smile and she walks away.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I'm so sad you wasted your wish there, but it's such a good plot turn and it could benefit you a great deal later. So
yeah.
Because my eyes are directly on her.
Yes, they are. So Jeff, go ahead and make an insight check.
Oh my god.
27.
27.
I have
You definitely
more-
see her look at the mirror and smirk.
Okay. I don't like her anymore. I don't know how many people I can get in this, but centered on her and trying to get Othig in it for sure. Force cage.
Oh man.
I'm done playing around. She just made a big mistake.
Okay.
Dude.
Well, she is on alert because she just got the message, so she is
Oh,
going
yeah.
to counterspell you.
Does Thanak have counterspell? He would have been within the same
Thanak
space.
does not. Does he have to counterspell? I'll have
don't
to look at
know.
his character sheet real quick.
I know
don't
he
think
has
he-
something because him and Mav are always fighting over who gets to dick around with
He
the
could
mages.
teleport to somebody and whack somebody, but at this moment, he'd have no reason to do that to Festus. Like, that would be not good.
Yeah. No, she wouldn't. He wouldn't, would he?
Nope.
Yeah, she. I don't even. I don't think he does.
I don't see it in his list. Nope, he does not.
He got rid of it, I believe.
Yep. So, she counterspells you and then immediately
Yeah.
calls for your arrest.
Yeah.
And like, and she calls out, they're all in on it. And so, everybody.
It's the Red Rocks all over again.
There's like,
Jeez,
there's like
Is
people
she
who are
looking
ready
into
to
the
fight.
mirror when she says that?
No, she's looking directly at you now.
Yep. If
I know if her last name is Red Rock.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. If I can, I don't know how much leverage I have in this space. I would demand that she say that looking into the mirror.
Oh, she turns around, says it right into the mirror.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She has no problem doing that.
But she's
full
not
control
looking
over
at.
the mirror.
But she's not looking
Yeah.
at me.
Like, as you're being taken into custody, she just
Turns and
she's like, I have nothing to hide, and says it straight into the mirror, and you're being dragged off. And everybody else has spears leveled at them, and like sad-faced guards are like about to start arresting everybody. Unless you can come up with something to do, then I'm going to move back to the boys in the mirror.
the only thing I have is spells, and I was hoping to get a spell off when she wasn't looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, she turned around and faced the mirror, so she's not looking at you.
I know
It's definitely a move of overconfidence, so you could try something.
Yeah, the only thing. So I used my 9th level. I used my 7th level. I have an 8th level. That move of overconfidence, the only thing I can think to do would be to either do another force cage or to feeble mind her. And I don't know which one's better with an 8th level spell slot. Because she's gonna resist anything I throw at her because she's probably a big deal, right?
Yeah, she's the High Minister of Magic, so she's a big deal.
Probably not going to tell you how big a deal she is, though.
Yeah, I know. The only other option I have at high level is going to either be Arcane Gate. I'm looking at my spells that don't take a minute to cast. A literal minute.
Wave.
Oh, hi, wifey.
I was gonna say wave to your wife to us, but she was looking.
Yep, she was looking. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, with that move of overconfidence, I think my only option is to attempt another force cage. At 8th
Okay.
level. My last high level spell there.
So you slap Force Cage down around Othig, and the rest of your group get a few guards trapped inside of it, and you're all stuck in a Force Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And the courtroom in the palace is in an uproar, and Thanak is like, "What are you doing?"
That's not Othig. That's not Mavamine. The mirror is broken, and she I don't even know how to say what I'm thinking.
That's a mirror.
She looked at the mirror as a reaction. Like she reacted to something and looked at the mirror and smiled.
And so he's like, "Okay, so what do we do?"
I don't know. We're stuck in this force cage, and there's us and some guards and that lady, and I don't know. Do we go in the mirror? Because, like, that's not Mav. And I'm just looking at Mav. Like, Mav, I mean,
this Mav
stopped
is
her.
like, of course it's me.
You would have stopped her from stopping me from casting magic. You're a liar. And I just yell at him. You suck up magic. It's the only thing you know how to do.
Not wrong.
He's like, it's not the only thing I know how to do.
You're a
He's
liar.
like really deeply offended by this.
He's also not wrong.
Just gonna say, like, so now he knows that this Mav is
Like,
lying.
I'm pointing at him like, no, I know you're not Mavamine.
So now there is an internal fight going on. Othig is fake Othig, Fothig is just sitting down against the side of the force cage, like with his guard next to him, just with his head hung low, and everybody is yelling about everything that's going on. There is complete chaos everywhere. And Thespis is like, did you catch her in the cage with you?
I asked to. I wanted it to be centered in such a way that one edge would be Othig and one edge would be the mirror.
And the mirror's in the force cage with you.
That was the attempt. If I couldn't get it, I would have allowed it to be on the outside, but I wanted the mirror and her to be at one end and Othig to be at the other.
It would be. There's chaos going on, so you take a few minutes and try and think up of what to do next with this. And you guys are in this circular
mirror, Mike. I know I would. I'm stupid. Like, Jeffrey would have at some point in time here, like, yelled at Mav, yelled at Othig, yelled at her, and then looked in the mirror and be like, and you, pointing at myself, figure out your crap.
Well, at that point, it would be past the moment that the mirror closes. The guys would have watched Thespis smirk and smile, and then the mirror would have fogged over, so there would be no effect from you looking into the mirror.
Now I'm even more panicked because it doesn't want me.
So you guys are trapped in the mirror. There are 4 doors from this room. They are working. Which one would you like to pick?
Before we go anywhere, we got some stuff to do.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, now
time.
Now that it's back to us, so I rolled for obviously the sinister voice that we identified as Achilleos, but would I have been paying attention to the child's voice?
You had no recognition of the child's voice at all.
Okay.
It just sounded like some random kid crying.
I have that many spells. So Othig, add 20 HP to your max pool.
Oh, nice. All right.
We're going to cast some aid.
Othig, you would no longer be wounded either.
Okay.
And at the same time, we're going to do... Oh, that only lasts a minute.
No, you did not derail.
Oh, that was all super awesome. I loved it.
I knew having people outside and inside the mirror other than Othig was a possibility. That's why I said earlier this would have been a very easy day for me to run an Othig and Jeff buddy game, because I just would have stuck you both in the mirror. But we got 3 people, so possibilities are more open.
I guess that's all I got right now.
More personalities to cause chaos.
Yep.
Do you have a potion of invulnerability?
I am going to use the bathroom while you guys get your
I believe so. Let me check.
Oh, I know what I'm doing. Death Ward. Duh. What am I thinking?
No, not invulnerability.
Okay, you're going to have one. I'll get you that here in a second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that'll make you resistant to all damage for a minute.
Okay.
So use as you feel is necessary.
Okay.
It is in the party sheet in a second.
Sweet.
Guys, I don't know how to not panic.
Do you have a potion of speed?
Oh, you're asking me? Yes, I do. No, I don't. I have a list for it, but I must have used it because I don't have anything. I don't have a count for it.
You should
There you
have
go.
one because I gave you mine. You used
Did I-
yours, but I gave you mine that I never used.
Did I
I
possibly
think he
use that one as
used
well?
that.
I think I
I
used
think
it.
you used both of them.
Yeah.
I'm normally pretty good
Oh.
about making sure that I take stuff out of inventory. You just gave me one of those too. Okay.
And I'm going to give you this.
Oh, wow.
And
Man,
I think
I gotta get trapped
we
in
should
nursing
get
home.
ethereal.
What's that?
I think we should get ethereal.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
I'm
an oil of etherealness in the party
Yeah.
sheet as well.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yeah, I got it. There it is. Yeah, let's do it.
That's super interesting.
Because theoretically, we would not be blocked by objects. Now, that could be completely misguided. Because, who knows where we are. But
All right, I'm gonna do it. I am just gonna do this thing. You guys lube up. You get. That's
he
real.
lubes up. I just cast the spell.
Easy. Easy. I know we're in a small room together, but let's just not go too crazy here.
I am going to remove the mask of the mirror maze as you guys go ethereal. It has a very strange effect. Mav has done this before, and things get really weird. Things actually here get clearer. And
So
you opening all the doors?
Yeah.
That's fine, because you're about to see the whole map. I'm just trying to find.
I thought you had already done that. Sorry. I was just trying to see, we didn't see anything yet.
I need to. How do I do this? There it is.
Oh.
So you guys see the entirety of the maze, immediately. And it's really pretty shocking. And you see two things in particular. Here, let me do this. You see your old buddy Achilleos. He is hanging out down here in this hallway. You also see in the opposite direction over here, you see a small child curled up in the fetal position rocking.
To the child?
Yes.
Okay, make a D20 roll for me, somebody, for luck purposes.
I can.
So, you guys just hightail it there. You make good time. Achilleos
Amazing.
makes a few wrong turns in the maze, and you watch him. He gets to this one closer. He gets to this pit, and he jumps over it. And when he does, it teleports him to here.
Oh.
But you beat him there. So you guys you get to the child and you can ask him 2 questions before Achilleos is upon you.
Oh man, just 2 questions. I have so many more than 2 questions. What's going to be the most important 2 questions here?
How do we defeat him?
He goes,
and more specifically, is there a weakness we can exploit?
He says, well, he should be weaker here, but he's survived. People don't survive here. Things don't survive here. You guys are about to start dying, but he's lived for months and months.
I feel like the next question should be, what about him? Like, what's up with this child?
Like that was totally my next question.
Yeah, because honestly, like that would have been my first question.
He
But
says,
that was definitely my next one.
I was the first soul trapped here. I'm the one that powers the mirror.
Powers the mirror? Oh my gosh, I have so many issues with this.
So
And
you
now
guys
it's
ask
over
questions, and he is definitely moving closer to you. He comes through the door. You guys are up over here, but he is through the door, and you hear him coming down the hall now. And the kid says, "Don't let him get me. Please don't let him get me."
Well, why hasn't he gotten you already? Gosh, I want to ask so many questions. So many freaking questions. They both
Yeah.
have you.
So
Okay, so I want to stay within sight of him, but I want to hold off Achilleos like at the end of the hallway. Like I want to be able to see both of them because I don't want him to get past us, and I don't want
Mhm.
us to be like right on top of the kid where he could just like grab the kid and then like make a run for it or something crazy like that.
So I would like to cast Firestorm, which allows me to place up to 10-foot cubes, which must be touching on one edge in any direction or in any way I like. And I'd like
And you just want to fill the hallway?
yeah, a fire pillbox hallway.
Wait, what are you doing?
Lots of fire.
Like
Okay.
behind him, on top of him, and behind him
Like in a line that he would have to go through to get to me.
to get to us.
Yeah, to get to us.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
he has to
he's
pass
not
through fire.
dumb, so he's not going to do that.
No, and it's instant. It's not. There's no duration, so it would have been one time. Not a good use of it. No. Okay.
Do you
Nope.
do you not want to do that then, since it's
I
instant?
don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you burn a spell slot on something that's not going to last. You could cast it on him though, and you would be able to get him twice.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could see him coming. He can't see you, but he has a decent sense of where you are. I was going to start having him hunt you while you moved through the maze.
Yeah. I do want to use the potion of invulnerability just before we get into
Yep.
battle with him.
All right. Okay, so Andy, you can go ahead and do that, and I am going to move him closer. Othik, you are.
I guess the only thing I'm going to do is call forth Spirit Guardians and tell Othik it's time.
It's time.
Also casting Holy Weapon on my weapon.
All right,
AKA
so let's roll initiative then.
Othik is the weapon.
Othig is the weapon.
Woo! I just nat 20'd my initiative.
Dude.
So that is a total of, oh, his dex is trash. It's 21. All right, so he is definitely going to zoom up to this hallway to here. The kid will press himself out of reach, but obviously close. And Achilleos is like, finally, I'll get you all. And when I'm free of this prison, I'll get every last one of you.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
but
kid is like in this corner.
Yeah.
So you guys
Furthest corner he can get to.
Can we actually push out towards him before he gets there?
Yeah, you could do that.
Tall.
Well, no, he has the initiative.
that's kind of what I was saying before, though.
So yeah, I'll let Othig get to here to keep a little bit more distance.
with you guys being in initiative, is there any chance of us being in a fight out here?
There is actually a chance you might be able to pick a fight out there.
Well, I don't want to pick a fight, because if Thanok can, with his brain power, identify anything and keep it from a fight, I'd rather not fight, just as a note. But
so who do you want Thanok to try and brain power then?
For the first Mav and Othig to verify that they aren't them, even though I already did that by having Mav, not be Mav. But then her, because he can read minds, correct?
Yeah, I don't know how often he can do that, so pick one.
Well, I've already identified that it's not them with just simple hijinks. So I would have him read her mind, and I would inspire him to do so.
Okay.
While at the same time, so all of that, but then also in case she resists that, I will also use my bard ability to reduce any saving throw she'd have by a D10.
Okay, so she is going to give a saving throw.
Oh gosh,
it's pretty good. So reduce. Go ahead and do your reduction.
Okay. So D10 on her. Well, by -5.
Okay, so you have picked a fight because Thanak has identified her as a Yuan Ti, and he pulls his hammer out and he's picking a fight.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So
that tracks. That makes sense.
Which means she has some sort of illusion on her, or some sort of magic on her.
If Mav were in the room with True Sight, he would have told you that she had a very small amount of magic on her. And had it ever come to you guys talking about it, she would have said that she's a lot older than she looks and she uses a magic makeup to hide her wrinkles. But now that you know she's a snake, she uses it to hide her scales.
Yep, I'm going to dispel magic whenever I get a chance where I feel like she would be distracted enough so that we can get some allies. But I don't know if that adds us to the initiative or not, but I don't want to...
Hey, I'm going to run them separate, and yours is going to be very theater of the mindy because you have a good chunk of the Granite Back clan in this cage with you. And Thespis, even being a level 18 wizard, is not going to survive this.
She's not a bro.
Well, and all of the guards were the ones I targeted with mass
suggestion.
And at 9th level, that actually lasts a really long time. I didn't realize it lasts as long as it does. At 9th level, it lasts for a year and a day for them to just chill.
My gosh.
Yeah, what? I thought it increased the number of people, not the duration. So the guards
you did say just to chill about arresting Othig. So it was fairly specific to an event. So
yeah,
they're not super chill,
non-hostile.
I think there's a fair amount of non-hostility that can happen.
Oh my gosh.
Othig, let's see. Achilleos is going to run up to you and he is going to start attacking.
I do have one question first, and because you said that and he was chasing us, do I get my attack first before he gets to take his first swing? Okay.
Yep, you do.
I'm gonna stab him.
So funny.
So 22 hit him?
22 does hit him.
Excellent. He can take that.
Yeah.
He takes it, and then he...
Oh, I can't believe that one rerolled to a 1.
With a flurry of bites.
Well,
awesome.
Oh, is he that?
But he is going to miss.
What?
He's,
Animetha or whatever?
He's an Animetha.
Oh, that's so terrifying.
Yeah. And then it is his turn, so he is going to claw at you. Oh, gosh. That's a terrible roll. I still... And he is going to constrict you. He wraps you up in one of his heads. You are now grappled. You are restrained, actually. You are restrained. Oh. And you are going to take a bunch of damage. 24 points of damage.
Is it halved?
Some of it is acid. It should not be halved.
So what does what damage am I resistant to?
Poison.
Everything.
Oh, no, you are resistant to everything. You are correct.
Okay.
So whatever damage you end up with when I'm done with my turn, you can have it.
Okay, so whatever you say, just have it. Okay.
Yep. I won't. So I actually won't roll on you again, just to make sure that it's easier to add.
Oh, did you already roll? Okay, you did.
I did. I put 24 points on you, and then he is going to flurry of bite you 3 more times.
Jeez.
But he's going to miss you, hit you, and hit you. So that
if you give me a second, you'll have an effect on you.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
70. He hits you for 79 plus 24 is 103, halved to 52.
Yeah, dang, son.
But that is now his turn. Othig, it is your turn.
Okay, so
You can have your 1 hit point back, but you have resistance to all on you now.
Okay, thank you. So, and you can roll on me if you want.
All right, I will from now on.
Turn.
Now,
So, I'm not going to action surge just yet because I'm gonna wait to, well, not be restrained, and also probably when I use the speed potion. So, do I make a roll at like the beginning or end or something to get unrestrained, or that's an action?
That you have to use your action to try to get out of the grapple.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to get out of the grapple.
Okay. So that is a contested roll.
You want a strength?
Yep. Oh gosh, I rolled a 1, but he's got a plus 15. So you got to beat a 16.
Is it a check or save?
It is a athletics or acrobatics skill check.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely athletics.
All right. So you push yourself out using your action, and then you have a bonus action and movement.
No. Not gonna move anywhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand my ground here.
Are you going to use your bonus action?
I don't have a bonus action.
You don't want to drink the speed potion that you just said you wanted to drink?
I want to wait to make sure he's not gonna try to restrain me again, or I'll start it. I'm not gonna do it just yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna see how
Mav,
many
you're
more
up.
times he's gonna try that trick.
Okay.
From the last time you fought him, you know he gets to do it every round to attempt to restrain you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna keep that one then for a while.
Okay.
Remind me, a ring that has charges, attunement is to use the item. It's not to just recharge it, correct? So the ring of the ram.
Correct. It depends on the item, but yes, in most cases.
Okay. Shoot.
Were you gonna punch him down the hallway?
I was gonna go punch him into the wall.
Yeah, that's awesome. But no, the ring of the ram definitely requires attunement to be used. Wands, I typically let you use up the charges without attunement.
Yeah.
But if you drain it all the way, then it blows up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I was fine with. Okay, so yeah, we're going to drink the potion of haste.
Okay.
And with that extra action, I'm going to a potion of invulnerability.
You should be able to move yourselves now. I don't know why the default is to set to locking.
Oh, I didn't even realize it. I didn't try to move myself, so. Where the heck is my
Cast
brain?
haste on myself and resist all on myself. And I'm going to attempt to see the Infernal Spirit be a bonus action, so I can't do that this turn. But I am going to cast. Where is it? Spirit Guardians at the 5th level. Okay, well, I'm not targeting myself with that, so.
Yep, you go ahead and take that off. You go right ahead.
And we're going to do radiant damage.
Are you sure you don't want to target yourself?
Pretty sure. And now there are Spirit Guardians up in that area.
Awesome. All right, Jeffrey, what are you doing to Thespis?
She is a spellcaster.
Yep. Very powerful one.
Yeah. And Thanok is out here. Do we still feel like he is shackled?
Who,
I don't know,
Thana?
I don't know what actually produces the shackles of magic. If it
Um,
is originating from her or from the space around us.
it does seem like something she was in control of.
Okay.
So he is currently unspellable. He had his psychic powers because those are his,
Yep.
not spells. Yep.
So he can't cast any magic right now.
Correct.
So I need to find some way to incapacitate her. Because I'm going to, because counterspell is a reaction, requires sight, and like I would be fully understanding how counterspell works. So I'm trying to find a way to get away from her ability to counterspell me. So I am going to cast invisibility on myself, greater invisibility on myself.
Okay, she is going to attempt to counterspell that.
So that'll be a 4th level spell.
I gambled and I failed. Dang it. I thought she's got a +10. I can't roll a 1.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So I'm greater invisibility.
Oh, you had a +10 anyway. You don't add your proficiency. Just your mod. She would have had a +5. So you are greaterly invisible. Bonus action now. Everybody's like, where did Jeff go?
Yep.
Yeah, they're probably like, where did Jeff go? He's the one who started this mess.
And I'm going to. Oh gosh.
Oh, actually, you would not be invisible. Please make a Constitution saving throw. Well, you might still be.
Okay. Oh, because she reshackled me at some point.
No, this is different.
Okay. Constitution saving throw. Unnatural 20.
All right. You feel the magic being pulled from you.
Oh, what?
And by Mav.
Oh, that.
But
prick.
you are able to retain the spell. And the minute everybody sees Mav do that, like Orin's like, that's right, get him.
Yep.
And Thanak's like, oh, you're gonna get it. and
so
now
it
is
magic.
It's a royal rumble in the inside of the force cage, and you are invisible.
Oh, that's scary though. That's scary AF. I'm gonna quietly.
There's a crazy fight now going on inside of this force cage.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and get someplace behind her, and I want to invoke Feeble Mind on her at my next ability and turn her into a puppy.
All right, I'm gonna go back to Kilios, and I am going to attack Othig some more because Othig made me mad.
Bring it on.
Othig made me mad, he says.
So
again,
one claw hit. Okay. 2 claws will hit. The constrict will hit. So you are again restrained, grappled and restrained, Othig.
It's okay.
And then flurry of bites. He did 2 claws, so he only gets 2 of these. That's a nat 20.
Can't be crit.
It's bad.
You can't be crit.
Oh wait, you're targeting.
No,
you.
No, I'm targeting Othig.
Wait.
So, all right, I'm going to hit you with the whole shebang this time, my friend. So you have the effect on you, correct?
Yep, I should. Okay. Mav, are you rolling on me?
I'm rolling on you.
That's weird. It shows as, it even says Mav in.
That's probably because the Mav put the effect on you. So it's got to filter the effect through Mav. So you're getting charged with poison and crushing damage and slashing damage and all sorts of stuff. And he just tears you a new one. And it is now your turn.
Okay. I'm going to Misty Explode out of here.
Okay.
That seems like a good idea to me. Yeah, that's just weird. That's how it looks. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm gonna
That should
Misty
look.
Explode. What's that?
That's how it should look, because you're taking partial damage.
Yeah, but it looks like you're attacking me.
How does it look?
Because it has your name
Oh,
and your...
no, because that's because I did things. I checked the wrong box, and I rechecked the right box, and then I unchecked the other box, so it looks like I did things. Definitely not me.
All right, that's fine. Anyway.
All right.
So I'm gonna Misty Explode back down to my spot by Mav. That's gonna be 40-12 Radiant. Radiant is that, which is really bad.
The dice look so much better.
And then I will drink the potion of not sharpness.
Speed.
Wait, is that what it is? Speed, yeah. I'm not gonna drink a potion of sharpness.
Gotcha.
That's not what I'm gonna
do. All right. Mav.
So Mav is going to make two. Okay, so rule that I could cast a spell and a cantrip on the same turn with haste.
You can. Yes.
I was trying to find it online, and there's not a lot of great guidance out there.
Oh.
Just that it says you can. Yeah.
No, sorry. I'm not drinking that potion because it says it takes an action.
No, potions for you are a bonus action.
It says that that's what it comes with it in the DMG, but it's not.
Okay,
Yep.
so I am.
Our house rule is potions for yourself are always a bonus action.
Okay, I thought so, but then I was looking at this and it said action, so.
I just never change it.
No, that's fine.
And I didn't change it either.
Yeah.
Okay, so first attempt is a divine guidance on good old Achilles. Is he choosing to succeed?
He is going to choose to succeed.
Okay, sounds good. And then I'm going to troll him. Troll the dead. Average.
Hemp's perfectly average. Jeff, you have gotten behind Thespis. She has read the room, and she now the jig is sort of up. Right now, it does look like it is the Granite Backs fighting the Empire. But she knows that the entire clan is like to observers.
Oh,
that's what it looks like.
Oh, okay. Well, they can hear
like
everything that's being said.
Everybody outside the force cage, yeah. So they've heard what you said, but you have no proof of anything you said. And so inside the force cage, it is a royal rumble between her, a handful of guards, and her Mav and Othig clones. Right. And the Othig clone is now fighting for Lady Thespis. So
right.
Help her case.
Yeah, that doesn't look at all suspicious.
Right. With all the noise going on, I'm gonna hope that she doesn't hear me, but I'm gonna try and be out of line of sight from her, and I want to cast Dispel Magic on her at what do I have? I have I will use a 5th level spell slot because I'm gonna hold on to my 9 for Feeble Mind.
Okay, make a stealth check, please. At advantage because you're hiding. Yep, just to see if she hears you or not. Because she is actively looking for you. She knows what you did.
Yeah, she's upset with me.
Yep.
31.
You dog, you beat me by 3 points, you turd. I was like, I'll get him with the 28. That's pretty safe. 28 safe. No. All right. So you are able to get your 5th level spell off.
So yeah, I'll cast Dispel Magic on her.
Okay.
To remove
her makeup is definitely not more than a 5th level spell. So it goes down and everybody watches as her eyes become slanted and serpent-like and scales down cheeks and necks, and her fingers get elongated and she loses it. She starts screaming, and all of a sudden people stop fighting and are looking around.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to heckle her with my ability that has the saving throws and be like, "Ew, she's a snake," and not just metaphorically.
There's like a shocked gasp through the crowd at this. So, and then she is going to take her turn and make a charisma saving throw, and she will succeed on that easily. And she bamps out of the force cage.
-8 to whatever her charisma saving throw was against my DC.
She left the force cage? What?
Not if she doesn't get my DC, she ain't.
Well, a 24 I knew beat your DC, but I'm guessing a 16 sure doesn't. So you see her go to poof out, and then she poofs right back, and she's like, "Oh no,
still a snake."
And it's Achilleos' turn.
Oh my gosh!
He is going to hone in on on Othig again. I'm just going to roll these d20s here,
guys. I hope you never have to fight Jeffrey. Like, just as a real statement, he's the worst.
You're going to get hit with 1 claw and 2 bites, but he misses you with the constrict this time.
Does he hurt? Oh, what? That's why. Well, I was curious why it was doing a concentration check. He doesn't need it to do a concentration check, but he has.
No, it's asking me for concentration because I put the haste spell on myself.
Yep, I know, and I realized that's what it was.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, so there's that. He does that, and then he is going to use a legendary action to cast a spell.
I am going to suck that baby up.
I knew you would. So I will make my Constitution saving throw.
I will make.
That's not good.
I have no idea what level this is unless it's a first level spell.
Nope, you do not. Okay. So I have to beat your spell save DC. Is that how this works? We haven't done this in a bit.
Yeah, you have to beat my spell save DC, which is a 22.
Okay. I was just gonna say, does a 19 do it? So you suck up a polymorph spell that was aimed at you.
Yes, I did.
Your spell save DC is 22?
What?
How?
My +3 implement of the
that's right.
Emperor.
Yep. All right.
7
level? It is polymorph is a 4th level spell.
4th level.
Right, Jeff? 4th level? That's what I thought. Othig, your turn. You are unhindered, sped, and invulnerable. Nigh invulnerable.
And I'm not restricted.
And a holy weapon.
You are not restricted.
Holy weapon. So many good things going on right now. Let's just throw in an action surge right off the bat.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, you did.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, you had to know that was coming. It's like, it's what I do. It's like,
wait, let me know in 20 minutes when you know your turn.
Yeah, barbarian rages, Othig action surges. What do you do? I rage. What do you do? I action surge. Oh, good times. Good times. Okay, so that's gonna be 7 attacks at least, possibly 8. Okay, here it goes.
Don't forget you get your bonus hasted attack too.
That was the 7 at least.
Yeah, don't you get 4 attacks on your turn?
I thought we said it was only 1 bonus attack, not
right. But if you action surge, you get 4, and then you get 4, and then you get 1 extra one. You get 9 attacks, buddy.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, did you get him every time? Nope, you missed him once.
Missed him once?
No, you did hit him. It says you hit him. I don't think you hit him with a 19. You should not. Sorry, his AC did not update.
Okay.
So you got a nat 1 in there.
I will luck that.
Okay.
To re-roll it.
And then you missed with that 19. Otherwise, you hit him every time.
Okay. So
That'll get him.
okay, so that'll be 8 hits. One's a
One
crit,
crit.
which means I get to roll a bonus. That'll hit. So it's still 9 attacks. Yeah, it's 9 attacks. Okay, here we go.
On a side note, not doesn't have make any impact on his damage.
There it goes. There it goes.
Oh my God.
Your
I
butt
already
base
killed him.
guardian at the beginning of his turn. So in addition, he needs to I just want this to be out there first. He took another 20 points of damage.
So you guys put him down. Yeah. He's dead. That was a lot. Dude, you just did over 200 points of damage to him in a round.
Yeah, I did.
Easily, and you weren't done. Like,
No.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You guys put the hurt on my monster.
I mean, we're
bad.
level
Yeah.
18, so
Yeah.
You are. And I built him to sort of be a glass cannon against just Othig, and maybe if somebody else was there. So I not 100% like surprised by this outcome.
Potions on this guy.
I know.
Dude, if Othig would have gone down had you not given him that potion.
No. I mean, I was fine with him using them. I
Oh.
used them too.
Yeah.
Yep. So okay, you put Achilleos down, and he starts to scream as he's dying, and you just watch as his body gets pulled into the wall, and his snake heads are like clamoring at the ground, and they're biting into the ground, and he's trying to keep himself from being pulled in, and then like you see him behind the wall trapped, like screaming and pounding on the wall.
Mav is definitely gonna help push him into the wall.
You take your spear and you're like, get in there.
Seriously, I was like,
The
you
infernal
said like,
spear. Yes, like let's go, move faster.
Yep.
like you're like he's like grasping at the floor. I was gonna be like, I'm breaking those teeth with my glaive.
Yep.
Like,
So you managed to push him in before he regenerates enough hit points to actually come back from being classified as dead. And he is now trapped behind the wall in the
I've got
mirror.
so many questions for the boy.
Okay, so you may now ask them. Actually, I'm going to give Jeff his
later after Achilleos arrives.
I mean, unless I feel like this is just like story time. Like if the boy's just gonna spill it, like if you're gonna like do that, then I'm gonna withhold the questions. Otherwise, I've got so many questions.
Okay. Actually, you guys need to make saving throws. You've been in here over 10 minutes now.
Constitution?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh wow. I'll roll my d10.
Mav, you're going to take 31 points of necrotic damage. Othig,
Which
you
would
will
be
take
halved.
15.
Which would be half.
Yep. You know, yeah, you guys can have, but Mav will take 31. Othig will take 15. Jeff,
do I actually get to have? Because I wouldn't be.
You're
under
still
the effects
invulnerable.
of- Well, if
Yeah.
it's been after 10 minutes, then I wouldn't be.
Total, since you got taken into the mirror.
Oh, okay. You're saying this happened before. Okay, got it.
Yep.
All right.
This clock started ticking the minute you got pulled into the mirror.
Okay.
Jeff, you got Lady Thespis, who now, like, everybody in the chamber is turned against her except for her clones of your family, and she is taking a serious beating from everybody.
Yeah. Oh, dog pile on the snake lady.
Yep.
I love it.
What do you want to do with your turn?
I don't want
Anything
her
in
to,
specific?
I don't want her to die. I want her to suffer. So I'm still invisible. So I'm going to. What am I going to do? I am going to heckle her again to give her a bad saving throw. And I am going to attempt to feeble mind her.
Okay.
So she has to make an intelligence saving throw.
You can go ahead. Oh, I don't have her up, so you can cast it on her. So I will
Correct.
roll. Oh, I am. She does not have legendary resistances.
That a girl.
Oh, she's Yuan Ti. She has magic resistance.
She would. Yep. They'll be resistant to magic.
That is quite a bit better. So
Right.
I am sitting at a 26.
You are sitting at a
-1 intelligence.
Oh my gosh.
You are sitting at a 19, right? Which will be
Yep.
beautiful. So she is.
No, I'd be sitting at a 20.
Okay.
Because you rolled a 6. I had a
save
26.
DC is. I don't know what my save DC is.
Modifier plus proficiency plus 8.
Yeah.
Plus any implement you're using that might have a bonus.
I don't think I have an implement, so I think I might.
You have to have an implement. I believe it's your cloak.
20. Oh, but it's not a plus of any kind.
Okay.
Not that I know of, anyway. I'm just trying to find a spell that has a save on it that I can just look at. But none of them seem to have it, which is confusing because I thought all of mine did.
It's extremely difficult to find spells when you're looking for them.
DC is that so she will save.
Not be feeble-minded? Okay.
Correct. 26.
All right.
All right.
She is like frothing angry at the mouth, and she looks in the general direction she believes you are, and she's just like spittle like coming out of her mouth, and she's like, "Stay out of my head, you little monster."
Yeah. I don't know who you work for, but I think you've been fired.
And let's see.
Because that was my bonus action and action, so.
She is going to attempt to escape again.
I don't know.
She ping pongs off the ceiling again because she's not going anywhere with a 14.
Jeff is no longer hiding. He's just rolling on the floor, actually laughing. Like, he's invisible, but he is literally rolling on the floor laughing so hard.
All right.
So I can't feeble mind her again because that was the only spell slot for that.
If you're bashing, you can just suck up our spells and cast it again.
I'm not, so I can't.
I know. Sucks, doesn't it?
But I am invisible, so I'm just gonna go full ham on her with the Ruin of Andorral and the Cat of Nine Tails full attack round on her. Which will be 2 attacks with the Ruin. I don't know.
Sure.
Because I'm invisible.
Because you're invisible.
So a 26 and a
and
a natural 20. So she's getting a smite.
A smite. Yep. There's
level.
That. It's definitely the gift now that Ryan linked.
So
Snake woman.
She's gonna get.
Yeah.
She's gonna get this, which hopefully will. Oh, did I put it all on there? Yep. So there's that. That didn't roll correctly. I don't know why, because it didn't add. Did I not add it to me? Error. Effect drop.
Because
I'm not in the combat tracker, boss.
No. Oh.
So just roll how many it's supposed to be.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Just do it.
Because rolling 9 attacks in a round isn't a lot.
So that'll be the number of D8s it is.
There it is. Oh, you killed her.
That's
She's
one
dead.
attack. And then the other attack with the Ruin of Andorral and the Thundering Cat of Nine Tails, just because it's there.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna go for the crit on that one too. Why not? Nope, not a crit, but
good times.
I'm just like, you are fired.
She is definitely fired. So
oh my god.
Like as you put her down, like you watch is Mav and Othig clone, and Othig clone has done some serious damage, and Mav clone has some people pretty well subdued.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, I forgot about them.
But they turn to ash.
Oops. Oh, dang it.
As she dies.
Oh no. Jeff panics. He's like, I didn't. Oh no. Oh no. And I'm just gonna run over and like put my hands in the ash of Mav and be like, I'm so sorry, I didn't.
Thanek looks at you and he's like, oh, you're gonna get it.
Jeff is just panicked because he's now like I needed a place to put the brains back. I don't have a.
He's
Oh,
yelling
God.
at Marilee. He's like, I told you we should have stayed home. There's just this fight going on. You guys, what do you want to ask the kid? And you do feel like your molecules are being pulled apart here. So you
I
feel
think
like you
first
don't have a
and foremost,
ton of time, but you have
how
some
are we
time to
getting out
talk
of
to
here?
the kid.
What did you say?
How are you getting out of here?
Yeah.
He can open the mirror to send you out.
Who put him here? Who is he? How is he
He-
powering it? Oh my
And
gosh! Tell
how
us.
can we get him out of here?
Yeah,
Should
like
he come out of here? Why is he in here?
yeah.
He doesn't remember the answer to any of those questions, but
my
he
gosh.
does know that every 100 years he can open up the door the other way and let someone out.
How many times has he done that?
Has
Never.
he ever done that? Okay. Okay, here's what I want to say to
Can
him
we
then.
get
If he has no he's a child, you said?
Mhm.
Do we recognize him?
No, he says he's been in here for millennia.
I want to burn the image of him in my mind, and like
Okay.
I want to remember this kid.
How-
But here's the
How
thing,
about,
like
how about I just sketch him with some cartographer's tools?
yeah,
You would
that's
have some time to
excellent.
do that for sure.
Excellent. Here's the thing, like before we
Oh.
leave, if he's gonna
My wife just scared me. Hold on. What's up, baby?
no, that's cool.
Just saying hey. Just saying hey.
They're all waving,
Oh,
mostly.
If he's gonna get us out of here,
yes.
I'm going to tell him that. Well, he doesn't even know. Like, does he even know what's happening on the outside?
He has no idea.
This is his world.
This is his world, and it has been for a really long time.
Okay, I'm going to tell him that I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happened, because you obviously don't know what's happened. But I'm gonna find out what this is about, and I'm going to try to come back for you. Like, get you out of here.
He just hugs your leg.
I'm gonna tell him that I have some really smart friends who are way better at this sort of thing than I am, and I'm going to tell them about you so that we can figure out what it is that this is.
Who's staying in the mirror though? Because he
Not
can only
us.
let one person out.
No, he can open the door.
He's gonna open the door and let both of us out.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard you say he can open the door once every 100 years and let one person out.
He did say that. That's also
I
something
might
that
have.
he can do, but he's
I
going to
thought
let
that's
us.
what you said. So
But
Can
I
he-
meant to say I can only open the door once. So both these guys can get out.
I
Can
panicked
he-
a lot
Same.
because I was like, oh,
Oh,
only one?
I thought you meant it was like a separate thing. Like now that that event has happened, he's gonna be able to let us out, but also like once every 100 years, he can let someone out. I thought they were separate things.
No, it's the same thing. Like
Okay.
he's never been able to let somebody out. Everybody else has died before he's been able to help them.
Okay.
But because normally they can't navigate the maze, like
Andy, you asked him
immediately.
his name?
He doesn't remember.
Yeah, but you did ask him. Okay, so
What
doesn't
can
use-
he leave at the same time as us?
He doesn't think so. He's never tried.
try.
Shove him through. Do it.
I don't want to be stuck
Let's-
in a mirror.
Can we all like go together? Let's try and like all
Hold
go.
hands and jump out the door.
I don't know, like I'm ready to do that. Yeah.
He says he'll try, but he doesn't think so. He's not
Okay, just-
sure.
I just want him to remember what I said.
Matt would like to study the magic he uses to open the portal
Okay.
to see if he feels that it would be doable, or if
Okay.
there's anything we can do to enhance that. And as much as possible, he's going to give Othig the pencil and paper and tell him to write down exactly what he says. And he's going to also attempt to write it down.
Okay. So both you guys make D20 intelligence rolls.
Oh dear.
Yep. There it is. There it is.
Oh yeah. Can I make an Arcana check at least?
You don't do a real good job at remembering what happens. As a matter of fact, it's not so much because you guys are bad at it, but the words are just they're not real words. They're whispery noises. And you watch as the room on the other hand side of the mirror opens up and it's absolute chaos. Jeff is invisible, and there's a snake lady having the crud kicked out of her, Thanak and stuff. And as the mirror opens up, you watch as the clones of you crumble into dust, and Thanak starts yelling at invisible Jeff, who is obviously like covered now
Wait.
in dust.
Mav is going to look at Othig and be like, we should just nonchalantly walk out and be like, what's going on?
Hey, wait, when we walk out, are they going to see us? Because we're going to still be ethereal, right?
I would have assumed that we were no longer.
You guys are
because of-
ghosts? You just turned to
No.
powder and now you're ghosts?
Yeah. Like,
Oh, Jeff's gonna have an aneurysm.
I mean,
Oh,
maybe,
God.
yeah.
Oh God.
honestly, like, I don't know, like, that we would change out of it right away because we're just walking back into this mess, so... I
Hey,
feel like
so we're holding out for the rest of the hour that Othig is invisible for.
No, not the rest of the hour, just, like, the first, like, 2 minutes after we step through the office.
Just like tap on Thanak's back, like, hey buddy, it's okay.
Yeah, like, I fully intend to, like, as they're kneeling down, like, over the ashes, I'm gonna be like, "That's not me."
Ooh,
Just sobbing.
listen to my voice. Move
Jeff
the
is just
door.
sobbing. He's like, he's loose
Yep.
the ghost. I need to find a young priest and an old priest.
So you guys come back into the room. The boy does not make it back with you.
Right.
Sorry.
Um,
I'll be
yeah,
happy
for
about
for
that.
a moment though, you see him through the mirror, just like staring, and then the mirror goes back to being normal,
Dang.
reflective, and you're in the room invisible. You begin to screw with your family a little bit before you fully make yourself known. Jeff, please make a wisdom saving throw. Oh, you
Another
already
one?
did.
Okay, no, I'll make another
No,
one.
you're-
It's gonna keep going. They're the worst. My
Oh, the
friends are
Scooby-Doo
awful.
meme again.
We unmasked the bad
Thanak-
guy.
Thanak figures it out pretty quickly, knowing Mav's perchant for potions. And but he still plays into giving Jeff a
Oh.
very hard time about getting the guys killed, and
Yeah.
merrily finally makes him stop.
It's his fault. This is all Jeff's fault. We're inside a force cage for an hour and Jeff is just crying.
So here's let's skip scene here a little bit. You reveal to everybody that you're still alive. People start to put what happened together. You talk about being trapped inside of the mirror. They have no idea. They had no idea that could even be possible. And then one of the guards comes, who was sent to investigate and check on some stuff. He returns and says that the mirror of truth is still in the vault.
Oh, fake mirror.
So this was not the mirror that was supposed to be. So some investigation stuff happens. Not a lot of clues are found, but it is obvious that the Yuan Ti, who have been a problem in the city on and off for quite a bit now, were a bigger problem than anybody possibly imagined.
I don't know who in this group is in charge now, but Othig's definitely letting someone know that just like, okay, not only did we find out that that's not the right mirror, there's a child stuck in that weird mirror dimension who says he's powering it. We need to figure out how to get him out.
That's like a seriously disturbing thing to start telling people.
Yeah,
And
well, I'm doing it.
everybody's pretty upset about it.
Oh, wait. That means the child powers whatever mirror this is, but not the mirror of truth.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, that's screwed up.
Yeah. This is like probably a Yuan Ti like demonic creation.
Yep. Is
For-
there
for this
anything else
purpose.
you guys would like to do to add to the search of this?
I'm gonna legend lore the mirror because it's the only thing I can think to do.
I'm gonna highly suggest to this council that we search
Maybe
the
do some
rest of the-
background checks.
we figure out who else is Yuan Ti around here, because I have no problem like finding more Yuan Ti to
We just
dispatch
have the
tonight.
city walk in front of the truth mirror and be like, yes, I am UNT, or no, I'm not.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
no joke.
I'm gonna be like, look, now that I'm up, like,
Real talk. Everyone needs to go in front of that mirror. Like that's a real thing that should happen.
now that Othig Graniteback is up, we may as well dispatch some more Yuan Ti. So before I'm going back to bed, if there's any more in here, we better find them fast because
So honestly, that plan is met with quite a bit of acceptance, and so they begin to take people to the real mirror instead of having it brought up. They
Jeff's
run a few
still not
test
gonna go by the
subjects
mirror.
on it first, and they put everybody through the mirror. So because you suggested that, there is a series of questions that are asked, including were you part of the plot? Are you Yuan Ti? 8 more Yuan Ti spies are found in this.
On top of that,
oh,
we inquire about the replacement of the Emperor in the war with the
You would
Pentat.
inquire about that?
Can we add that to the list of questions? Were they involved in that?
you think
That
that
led
you'd
to the
have?
Emperor's death.
Oh,
Oh, you
'Cause
do.
he
And
he would have been a part of that.
indeed, they all were in on it.
Mm.
Which leads to a few other questions about the many-faced Lord. And these
he's
Yuan
out
Ti
there.
were all in his service.
Dicks.
Good question,
Jeff is,
Ralph.
Jeff is out of like candor, and he's just like, everyone is dicks.
So before, and then something very sad happens. Before he
no.
even gets to the mirror, Stenimus confesses.
Oh.
He was involved with Vespis. He didn't know she was a snake lady.
Well, we all.
He just thought she was hot.
I mean, involved with and like involved with are different things. I mean, we all have our urges. I mean, Thanax got a girlfriend.
He says he gets that, but he knew Othig was being set up.
So you're a dick.
remember,
He
Tony,
says
everyone
yes,
everyone.
but this was too much for me.
As in, he didn't realize that this was the level that this was at. He thought it was just, oh, I get to be king and Othig gets to be scapegoat.
Yep. And
I would like to use our Barry's telepathic bond with Othig and just remind him that one of the attributes that Zillion had that we appreciated was mercy for mistakes made. Yes. Sorry.
This is so good.
Favorite GIF. Did you catch that, Ryan?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
well, right
That
now
would
it is
be-
not Othig's. It is not Othig's decision.
Yeah, I was
No.
gonna say I highly doubt
But
that I have
could
anything to do with
impress
that.
upon whoever's decision it is
Yes.
to have mercy.
But as the victim involved, a victim statement is often important.
Yep. So he is put before the mirror and he's grilled, and it does appear that it was the extent of his knowledge. He didn't want to see a dwarf sit on the phone, not necessarily because he hates dwarves, but because he doesn't. No one should sit on a throne that as long as dwarves do. That's his
That
feeling.
makes sense.
Because they live so long, he that's his bit. He's like, no emperor has ever ruled more than 20 years.
And
Would there be any information provided about the notes?
Those were dropped by various Yuan Ti operatives.
Okay. Basically, just another part of the plot. One step of a possible success.
Yep.
Or one plan.
Like, because if you guys had tried to convince Othig to step out, then nobody has to die.
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
right.
Everybody has to die.
I mean, that's fair.
Yep.
So
No, Andy, everybody's dicks.
It is. It's true. Oh, so a dwarf has never been emperor, and because of this view that dwarves live longer, is it possible that within all of this structure and everything that we could look into not a term limit, because emperors don't obviously have one because it's a successor by force or by death. If you're an individual with a longer life expectancy to instead look at a percentage of years based on how humans live?
That would be up to the next emperor, and then
Oh, there's
ratified
no
by his
council or
council and
anything?
passed on.
Okay.
But it's something that could be looked at. But that isn't why dwarves have been kept from the throne. None have honestly ever beat what won the challenge. That's what's kept them. Some of them have gotten very close,
Yeah.
but
I sense some cheating.
Well, they are.
No human could beat a dwarf in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, but no dwarf will win a marathon.
What? A marathon? Yes. A sprint? No. It's remember Gimli were shite over long or short distances?
Gimli was just being sarcastic. Dwarves can't run.
Yeah.
Or was it
under
other
any
way?
circumstances?
For natural born sprinters.
There's no short or long distance that a dwarf is ever going to be good at in any capacity.
Those little bitty legs, 25
No.
speed.
No.
Is there anything else you guys would like to investigate in this?
Oh, I did say that I would like to, if possible, gather a group of individuals together to try and group cast legend lore on that mirror, because I know we can monkey with spells a little bit in your world to modify them. I would like to gather Merrily, Thanak, and some other mages of antiquity.
There's a few others around. Obviously, Thespis isn't the only magician.
I feel like it would be really easy just to pass the other Yuan Ti through the mirror again and find out what's the deal with this fake mirror.
I mean,
the others were.
I would say it'd be what's her face would be the only one that would probably know.
They were more spy-like than magician-like. This was not something they'd be in the know of.
Okay.
That's so disturbing.
The hot dog gif? Yeah, it's awful.
She's so happy.
I don't know if I'd call that happy.
More like stoned.
Yeah. So Jeff, this mirror was an item created before the cataclysm.
Holy crap.
This is old world tech disguised to look like modern or to contemporary magical items. It is actually a dimensional portal to a demiplane that is activated not through magical means but technological.
Oh man,
we need to break that. The inevitables are going to show up.
Yeah, we're gonna get incinerated again.
Yeah.
The despair, on your face is we're gonna get incinerated again.
Yeah.
Gosh, it was so awful. Like
we just got our rap sheet cleared in Mechanus.
To be fair, you haven't touched it.
It's true.
We did.
Yeah.
Or not on purpose.
Not in the sense that they would care.
Yeah.
But it exists and it's bad, and the child is an AI. He's a what's the word? An operating system. Jeez. Okay. Who do we contact to find out what we need to do with this? Because we're out of.
Can we contact the AOG?
Contact who?
Oh,
the AOG.
That's right. We're part of.
Yeah, you could.
Creepy group now. Yeah, definitely. We'll get a hold of who was in charge of that. The weird
group.
blind lady and the Wolfman. We'll call them. We'll call.
Wow.
We'll call the
wow,
Ghostbusters.
T. Jeez. Could you use their actual names?
If I remembered them as either.
Are
Jeff
you
or Tony,
serious
I
right now?
would.
Oh my god.
Cannot for
Oh
the life
my
of me
god.
remember either of their names.
That is awesome.
Unreal.
So,
Marlamere, right?
Yep.
Got one of them.
You got one of them.
Yeah.
So time goes on.
Yeah.
Jeff, you also
Remember the other one?
How you have an opportunity when you guys group cast legend lore to fish some information out of the mirror.
I knew you were gonna say drink.
About how it works
Fish out of the mirror.
about people that it is captured. Do you want to do that?
About how it works, no, because Jeff is genuinely scared of our old world tech because those inevitables were scary dudes. The list
Seriously.
of people that were ganked, 100%, because I am all about returning things to their fallen loved ones. I'm pretty sure a devil's gonna show up with a body here soon. So that
No, because you know where he is, and you know that he's not that it was okay to not. He didn't want to be moved, so I'm guessing you would have passed that information along.
I don't know how I would have. I had a one-time use thing to call the succubus. I mean, unless I do have a way to contact her again, I only
You
had
could
the one.
use message to get to her,
I could cast sending.
and you would have had multiple days to do it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know the timeline on that, so yes,
I just
will.
assumed you would have called that off and
Nope.
like, hey, your deal's completed, but you don't have to finish this. We
All
found it.
right. Yes. Good. Okay. But then yes, I will call that one off. But I still have that innate like desire for closure for people. So I will. I will. Yeah. If we can learn who got pulled into the mirror, that would absolutely be something I would want, and I guess a list of people that have used it.
So, okay, make an Arcana check for me.
Okay. Alrighty then.
Can he make that at advantage with me?
Yeah, absolutely, because you'd probably be involved with this.
Cool. Arcana's not great, but it's not awful. Hey, 25 will do.
Yeah, it hasn't been used in centuries.
Okay.
So, the most recently it has been activated was Achilleos before you guys. Before that, it hadn't been used in a long time. You start to pull the list of names, and they're all very unfamiliar to you. And honestly, the majority of them are things like Bill Smith and Tom Rowland. And you're like, I don't know what culture these names belong to.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're really old, but Achilleos and then Othig and Mav are the most recent people who have been pulled into it.
Would there be anything as we're accessing its operating system, as to a failsafe of any kind or any way of like override or to put it out of commission?
Well, it is non-magical, so you could just break it or destroy it. You don't know what that would result in,
right.
but
And Othig's pretty sure there's a child inside. But with the knowledge
there's
of
a sentience inside.
Yeah. With the knowledge that we have of old world tech, because we've screwed around with some stuff and we haven't been wiped of that, would we be aware of any way of like, I know downloading wouldn't be a term that Jeff would have, but of transferring that consciousness into something like a Warforged or something?
Yeah, you wouldn't really have a good way to do that. There's some magical attempts you could take. A wish could probably do it. But that's definitely dipping into weird Wishville, and Thanak will not.
No, he wouldn't
make that wish.
Mav would say that it is probably best to destroy it, because there's plenty of things that look as a child, because a child is innocent, and we'd be more willing to work to get them out. When some things are just messed with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Othig would be more of the mindset for like what Mav just suggested, like knowing that it was old world tech, and like that would immediately just trigger memories of like regression.
The brain computer, and how at the end of old world tech they definitely use people's personal essences to power machines.
Like if Othig was any less of a dwarf, he might actually start curling up on the floor, like in the fetal position, like rolling around, saying, "No, not the." What are they called again?
The Inevitables.
Not the Inevitables.
Or Marut.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maruk is another name for him.
he just doesn't want to deal with those any. Like Othig doesn't want to deal with them. That should be saying a lot.
We don't have any other favors, or sorry, Jeff doesn't have any other favors out there. I don't know if you guys have any other favors out there to.
I don't think anybody's got any favors currently.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think if there's anybody that we know that might be able to. Because that's my only thought is that kid that Othig explained, and the desire to release him if if it works like a soul, if destroying it would release the soul, or if we need to do an exorcism, or if you know what I mean, like
yeah.
If
I think you're at the end of the information for that.
Okay. So we just shoot in the dark and hope for the best, and that's kind of where that lies. I think I'll leave it to Othig then and give him all of that information. And since Othig was the participant in that space, let him be the deciding factor of here's all of the logical information we have.
I don't even think it's up to us though. Like, I feel like this is not even up to us. That's
sorry. If and when you become the emperor, it will be.
It might even be taken care of like before that happens though. Like this is literally inside the palace, right? Like that's what we're talking about.
Yes, but there's
like,
nobody in charge.
They're gonna
right
have
now.
to decide what they want to do with it. Like it's their problem right at the moment.
There is nobody in charge right now. There's nobody to make that call.
I don't think it's like there's not anyone in charge.
Yeah, there's people in charge. The council's in charge. They could make that call.
Yeah.
So you present all the information to them.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with that. So Othig, you are recovering from what's gone on. The council has asked you and Leo, what's the guy's name? I don't remember now. Starts with an L. Lyle. If you are still interested in competing, or if they should go back to square one and hold a new set of games. You two have still qualified. You have been cleared of crimes.
I'm still willing to compete. I'm not gonna let getting sucked into a space weirdo mirror like deter me. I mean, honestly, if anything, Othig is even more resolved to continue on with this, knowing that like Yuan Ti wanted him to fail.
So Lael looks at you and says, I know I can't beat you.
What?
He's
Why does
like,
he think he knows that?
He just
he's looking around. He's like, seriously, Stonehauler?
All right. I mean,
he's like, my greatest hope was you would lose an eye fighting the person before you had to fight me.
Okay.
An eye, maybe two, and some hands and arms, and maybe a leg.
He says, but he will still face you.
Wow. Okay.
But that means you have to kill him.
It does. But it's what but Lyle says it's what our people demand. So
is that a permanent death, or are we allowed to bring you back?
Like the council immediately starts talking, and nobody's ever asked for that question before.
Because I get survival of the fittest. I get that, but it just seems.
I thought you said like it's. Oh, the final battle is a
the
battle.
Final battles are to the death.
Yeah, you did say that.
Never been one where they gave mercy?
Yeah, shouldn't we want to keep like we're literally talking about the people who reach the final and like then we let one of them die. I feel like
it's a valid process.
I know more now that I'm thinking about it, like
but
I definitely
you'd also have the ability to make another change. You're not only the first dwarf, but
the first weakling that shows mercy. The humans are gonna love that.
That's how much the traditionalists would definitely view it that way.
Yeah. But you've already only got half an empire, so what are they gonna do? Split again?
I mean,
wow, Mav. Always the lawyer.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That was
I mean,
beautiful.
Othig obviously is very loyal to the Kren way of life, but yeah, I don't know. That just seems a little I don't really like that. No, he doesn't really like that right now. I think if he was okay with it before, or he went with it before,
All of a sudden, it just got real.
right now he's just less inclined to believe that that makes sense.
You just have to murder somebody and you can be king, Othig. What's wrong with that? Jeffrey's genuinely like poking your button on that one of a little bit of like, I just became a Kren. I only recently started understanding this. I get it.
Well, then I'll tell him that if it's to be that way, that it won't be in vain.
If the martyr
He
wills.
nods at you and bows and says he looks forward to seeing you in the arena
Ugh.
in a few days' time, because obviously things have been delayed again.
Right.
So stuff happens pretty normally in the palace over the next few days. And there's a lot of talk that goes on around all of this. And you guys head to the arena. You're brought in. And Jeff, would you like to announce your champion?
I would. I absolutely would. I do not have nearly the prepared stuff that I wanted to because my last 2 weeks have been a mess. But Jeffrey would go into a humble announcement of Othig Granite back. Simply giving his just the simples of who Othig is, and I would finish with the statement and let this be the thing that speaks for him, because words are nothing compared to actions. And that would be my oath of glory stance and proclamation for Othig of I wouldn't actually go into a lot of fluff or flair with who or what Othig's done. Just that he's a Kren at his base. He's simple. He understands. And he leads from his heart. And
so there is much cheering in response to that. Roll a persuasion check. Performance. This is performance.
All right, performance.
Performance all the way.
All the way. Also has expertise, so that'll. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
It is
Get
that
that
20
in there.
Total of 40 for performance, and it is epic. It is definitely the Chaucer moment where he's walking across the
I
beach.
freaking love that part. It's my favorite movie ever.
So with that, I think I would do that, and then I would finish and be like, "Oh, but wait," and then I would go into that full like I would make a giant scroll appear with magic that just like is like a jumbotron, and go into all of the,
absolutely. So it is spectacular. It is a spectacular announcement. Othig and Lyle hit the arena floor, and they approach one another. And right as combat is about to start, Lyle bows to you and says, "Thank you, my emperor." And he takes his spear and he runs himself through.
No.
And you yell no, and he looks at you and puts his hand out and says, "I go to be with my wife."
Yeah, I was worried about that too.
And the crowd is just stunned. Like they have never seen such a thing happen before. And after a few minutes,
I'm super kind of pissed at him.
Yeah. You would be both, man. That's
no, for a
bogus.
completely different reason.
Were you gonna do that?
No.
His wife?
No.
I'm gonna go be with your wife. Mike, that was awesome.
No, I like I told him before. Like if it comes to that, it won't be in vain. I was hoping that there could be a non-lethal ending here so that
Shows
the
it
first
otherwise.
part of that could be realized. But now I guess I'll just have to instate it. So I'll talk to you later about what I would like that to look like.
Will do. So, after a few moments, the council decides that there is no reason not to declare you victor, that you both were combatants the moment you hit the arena floor, and one of them is dead. The people seem satisfied with that.
I want
But
him
the city-
honored.
Okay. That'll be easy enough to do. The city seems uneasy with the way things went down, but there was nothing normal about this ascent to the throne.
Seriously.
I picture myself sitting next to Ulrin during that and just going, "Oh, that's gonna hurt
Yeah.
his ego."
Then he looks over at you and goes,
Yeah, yeah,
"You let me taunts it."
yeah.
He's
Ugh.
he's like, "Oh, it's not going to be much of a party tonight."
Oh, we can still party. Why? Why can't we party?
So, I think that's where we'll stop.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
Oath will be the next emperor of the Kren Empire.
So who you playing next, Ryan? Your guys
Who's
gonna be a little busy.
next? What's Emperor? Pirate King, maybe?
No, I mean Othig's the emperor now. Do we get somebody else as a stand-in while you're doing your emperor duties?
I really hadn't thought that far ahead.
Or do we do nothing but kingdom business now?
Like, I just wasn't sure like what would actually happen. Like, I had a vague idea that something crazy would happen, and then I wasn't sure like what would happen after that, so I didn't really like think if this would come to pass because I wasn't sure if it would.
All Jeffrey knows, and the reason I ask it is because every time we ask the emperor for help, he's like, "I'm busy. I gotta be the emperor. I got business. I can't go off an adventure." And he was always like, "No, I gotta politicky," and I'm just like, "No, come and swing a sword with us." That's all.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes, I'm gonna stop the recording.
You know, honestly, I just now, like at the end of this, realized that I put Ryan in charge of another kingdom now.
You just
Yeah.
now realized that?
I
Andy said it with
I
the
don't know.
Pirate King thing.
Well, I know that's really when it started. I was like, oh gosh, yeah, this is twice
It's-
now I put Ryan in charge of a kingdom.
It's funny because like,
Unintentionally, but
Let's
No.
see who is in charge of the
Yeah.
other kingdom that we have.
I just also just now realized that I'm not sure if I can do the same thing that I did last time when you put me in charge of a kingdom. So I don't know what to do.
Due to a heart.
What do you mean the last time?
I basically let what's his name like
Oh,
I
proxy
basically
you.
like yeah, I basically let him like take charge of like the day-to-day things while
Yep.
I would be able to
Yeah.
intermittently check in because we
Yeah.
knew we had something that was more like pressing than like we wanted to rebuild Barovia, but at the same time like I couldn't stick around for that because
Yep.
we knew that we were part of something that was way bigger than just Barovia.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I feel like
Well,
as the
and-
first Dwarven King, you're going to be under a lot of scrutiny here.
probably, but all of the emperors really did whatever the heck they wanted to do. That's really a big thing about being emperor, and that was kind of fleshed out in the tomb of their crypts. Is they all took on very unique personalities and bends, and there were some that just adventured. Like had Mav spoken to the other guy that was in the room with Zilithan, he would have found out that that guy was barely ever on the throne. He was always off doing something and communicating magically back with the people on what needs to get done.
That
Well,
guy
I
was
won't
only
be
emperor
communicating
for a year.
magically.
That guy was only emperor for a year.
Nah, he had a pretty decent run.
I was joking. I just think it'd be funny that
but-
he died as an
Yeah.
adventurer in a year.
Like
So
I might have
this
to
isn't necessarily the end of Othig as a character.
yeah.
You know, as
okay.
he moves into being emperor, if you want to play him through the end of the campaign as we turn back more towards Granite Back Keep or Hold, then we can. Which
I mean,
you
I'll-
could also make the capital if you wanted to.
Places.
So
Yeah. I'll just have to have Mav communicate back to our people my wishes.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, you probably mean Jeff. Matt has no ability to communicate.
I can only do it once a day. I got other people to
Well,
talk to.
once a day's fine.
You might have to hire somebody.
I might have to hire
So,
someone.
We hire a
so-
guy whose only job is cast sending for Othing.
Yeah.
No. You have to find somebody that can
Wow.
teleport to
That was-
us, get the mind link set up, and then teleport home every day,
Every hour.
every hour. That's right.
Just when no, just when it's
It's a
important.
team of people. It's a team of people.
Yeah.
So we got super good timing.
gonna
That
stop there.
monitor problem, video